Good evening, folks. Welcome back to a Wednesday Hobby Hangout. How's everybody doing? Hope your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday has not been too bad at all. I thought I'd rock some of the new merch tonight just to give it a bit of a run out, so you can see what they look like in the flesh. I must admit, I'm really happy with the quality of the new stuff. So yeah, I got myself a woolly hat as well for when I'm off to pick the little one up from nursery and it's a bit chilly. I got myself a zip up hoodie and a pullover hoodie and bits and pieces, just so I can make sure that before you lot all start receiving stuff that you're all happy with it. And I am anyway. I'm happy with the quality, so I hope anybody that picks up the new stuff is happy also. Let's have a quick look in the chat and see who we've got. We had Mark Wright nice and early. Good evening, Mark Wright. Hello to Lord Maiden as well. Hello to Blizzaz. I have to publicly apologise to Blizzaz for kicking him out of the Discord group today. I was being a bit overzealous. I think I must have clicked something wrong. But I've been having a bit of a tidy up of old accounts who no longer support and stuff, and just tidying it up and things today. Bit of an admin day, sorting out everybody's Patreon mugs and bits and pieces. That takes way longer than it should, because you literally have to, like, rather than me getting them shipped to me and then me having to box everything up separately and ship it all out, it's easier for me to order it from the supplier and ship it straight to you. But I have to obviously put everybody's individual details in, buy the mugs one at a time. Then it keeps asking me to re-put my credit card details in, because it says that the shipping address does not match the address on the credit card. So you've got to go through that rigmarole all the time. It takes way longer than it needs to. So, yes. That was today. Scott Longworth said he'll catch up on the rerun. He's on night shift tonight. Hello, Scott in the Longworth, mate. Scott in the catch up, mate. Let me know how what them printers are doing. Is it more Viking stuff? Hello, Paul Inman. Hello there. He said, I hope you all have wet brushes. Suitably moist, mate. Suitably moist. Ortega says he can't stay too long tonight as well. Just wanted to pop in and say hello. Hello, Ortega. Hello to Mr. Reeves as well. I did a bit of a special mug for you today, Mr. Reeves. Seems you're the first person to reach the 18 months of support mark. So yes, you get the special limited edition 18 months mug. So I'm not going to show you what it looks like. You'll see it when you get it, and then you can show it off yourself if you want to, or you can keep it as a surprise for other people. Tony Howell, hello to you. Jimmy Moscow, hello to you as well from Texas. Tony Booth Leidenson saying woohoo early again. Just finishing gluing the terrain from the Catacombs box. I've not done the terrain that was already in the original Warcry box yet, but I've done all of the kind of like the dungeon type stuff, and I was happy with how they all came out. Busey's in as well. Hello there, mate. How are you doing? John Estel is in as well, saying, oi, I'm hoping to finish a horde of salamanders before I get my Armada stuff at the weekend. Yeah, fingers crossed, mate. Not too long now. That's come around quick, hasn't it? Tasty Brain Drain says hello to the BlackJack crew. Hello to you, mate. Daxter Destroyer says, afternoon. I have to apologise if I keep scratching my nose. I feel like I've got a hair in my nose that's tickling the inside. So I might end up kind of like plucking away at the hair for most of the night, I think. Tasty Brain Drain saying nice cap there, and Debussy saying good, nice new headgear. Yes, these are the ones that are available from the new link. So I'll let you kind of see. Well, my head's a bit red now. I'll get it nice and close so you can see the embroidery on there as well for the quality of them stuff. A little bit of red piping there around the brim, and then obviously some little red air vents there as well. So yes, I do like a cap. We've got VJ in as well. Good morning to you. Good evening, Mr. Cooman. Hello, James Bray. Says evening, Squire. Blizzard saying it wouldn't have been too saucy. I think I must have I was trying to do one person and I've obviously done the wrong one, I think. Hello, Peter Stockdale. Hello, Bobby Clark. He's been painting camo pattern on 36 infantry, but I'll send you a bit blind, mate. Mark said he's well happy with his hoodie and his mask. Nice one, mate. I'm glad you like them too. VJ says he's glued together six-person Harlequin kill team last night. Damn, those minis are fiddly. Yeah, the Harlequin ones are quite sort of slim, shall we say. And Tony says, evening, Bowie. That was a nice shout out by Peachy and Co. Yeah, I saw that, mate, as well. Nice to get a bit of a Warhammer community shout out for your stuff there. Nicely done, sir. Nicely done. So, I think what we'll do is I've got something to kind of share as well. I've tried to put a little bit of background music in just to kind of break the silence while you're sitting painting. So I haven't switched it on yet. Let me flick over. There's our ship that we were painting last week. I'm going to switch it on, and I just want you to tell me is this too loud? Is it too quiet? Can you hear it at all? Is it horrible? Would you rather it was off? I'm just thinking something quite kind of low key, quite quiet in the background, just to kind of break the silence while I'm sitting painting, really. And so it's just a bit more relaxing for a bit of background. Midge too loud, VJ saying there. So we'll turn it down a touch. It's at negative 36. We'll go down to negative 40 decibels. Let me see if that's any better, any worse. And we'll just keep playing with that until you guys are happy with it. So I'll keep talking while I'm waiting for any replies or anything like that. So yeah, this is where we kind of left it last week. I've literally not painted a thing in the last 7 days. Blizzard's saying it sounds fine to him now as well. So we'll leave that for a bit. Just a touch more. Have you got headphones in, mate? Is that what it is? It might be just with the headphones. Let me just touch it down to. Let's take it down to 42, negative 42, I should say. We'll see how that sounds. Whoops. Negative 41, negative 42. This noise laptop speakers. Sounds all right. Let's see how that one. Because you can only just hear it, so we've got a mixture of people saying it's too loud and people saying they can't hear it. I can't control everybody's speakers, but I don't want it to be too loud for people. Can't really hear it through TVs. I find that as well. I have this problem every time. Every time that when I try to put background music to a video, I put it through on my laptop for what sounds okay, and then it's too loud or it's too quiet on like other devices. So I never really know exactly where to put it. But I think what I did for the last video, for the airbrush video, was probably not too far away. So anyway, yeah, this is where we were up to last week. All I've done since last week is just let it dry. Bobby's saying replace it with some Ramstein. Unfortunately, Ramstein is not what's it called, like license free, royalty free. So yeah, yeah. So this is where we got to from last week. The only thing I've done from last week is I let the wash dry, and I've put a very light dry brush of XV88, which is a Citadel colour. Let me just grab that one. XV88, just a very light dry brush of that over the top. So the best bit for this music, folks, is I can't hear it. It's just for you, just to kind of give a little bit of background. I can't hear it, so there you go. Because if I can hear it, then it comes through my speakers, and that ain't good. Because then it comes back through my microphone. So what we're going to do tonight is we're just going to kind of finish this one off, so you can see this one from start to finish, and then we'll crack on with another ship, I think. So I'm going to take these seals off, and we're going to crack out the yellow, and we're going to get some of that on the table. VJ saying XV88, the most silly name in the Citadel range. I'm pretty sure it's a Tau colour or something, isn't it? Or the name of a Tau suit or something like that. I think that's why it's called that. But yeah, it is pretty weird. It reminds me of the what's the Tamiya one called as well? I've got the red Tamiya X27, that one. Yes, Tau for sale. Plenty of Tau for sale at the moment, isn't there? With the new Christmas battalion stuff. Right, what brush? I did have a brush out I was going to use. We'll just use this one instead. Right. So what I'm going to do, folks, I'll just thin down this white a little bit. Let me just move that across. We'll thin down this yellow, sorry, and then I'm going to just kind of highlight. So you can see on here where it looks a bit scruffy and a bit dirty and stuff. And whilst that might be good, it doesn't look intentional. Do you know what I mean? It looks a bit scruffy with the thing. So all we're going to do is take that exact same, what's the yellow called again? Avaland Sunset, and we're just going to kind of tidy it back up a little bit and bring back some of the highlights. Just need to thin that a touch more. Tony says, where are you getting your agitators from? Have you had rust issues with them? No, mate, I haven't, because they're not metal. They are these thingy beads. I forget what they're called now. There's a certain type of bead, but it doesn't rust, mate. It's because I have bought stainless beads in the past, and yes, they did rust, even though they said they wouldn't, and they were specifically for paint agitators as well. And you end up with like horrible brown sludge in the bottom over time. But these ones are not metal, mate. They're some kind of stone, I think. Hematite, VJC, and that's the fellas. I couldn't remember the name, mate. Thank you. So yeah, that's what I've got. I just bought them from eBay. I bought a few hundred of them just to put into my paints. So yeah, because I just think they could do with them, to be fair. Especially when you've got like new paints and they're quite full. You just need something to kind of give them a little bit of a nudge. Because a lot of it just kind of settles to the bottom over time. VJ's saying the AK agitators are metal and the best, but I doubt I'll be buying any more from them. They're expensive as well, mate, if I seem to remember right. I think anybody that's... You start paying kind of hobby tax on stuff. As soon as you try to buy stuff that's kind of designed for the, for the hobby type thing, or by hobby companies, you end up starting to pay more money. So I did loads of research and stuff, and like, I think glass beads potentially aren't as heavy. I think the hematite ones have actually got a bit of weight about them. And I think you need a little bit of weight just to kind of shift them around a bit. So yeah, I decided to go with those. They weren't expensive. I think I spent less than... probably spent something like about £5 or £6, including postage, for a couple of hundred, I think it was. But yeah, they were all right. Blizzard says metal beads can be coated in clear nail polish to seal them against rusting. Tell you what, mate, that sounds like a lot of effort. But if it works, it works, mate. Yeah, if it works, it works. Tony's saying, hematite, okay, thanks, gang. I'm using glass at the moment and they don't have the heft. Yeah, that was one of the reasons I bought the hematite ones, mate, is because the research I'd done kind of said the glass ones were a little bit light. I mean, you can put a couple in there, but I think it's purely just they're a bit on the Norman White side. That reference will go over most people's heads, I'd imagine, but yeah, it's the hematite seems to work a treat. VG saying, yeah, I wouldn't use glass, especially with Citadel paints. They're too light and the paint is too thick. I quite like the thickness of the Citadel paints because it means I get like I can thin it to how I want it. Where what I find with some other paints, and I think it's purely taste. It's just I've painted with them for so long over the years, you get used to them. But I find with some other paints is that like they're already pretty thin, and if I want to use them for other things, it's like you can't really thicken them up so much. So, but yeah, this seems to. I'm happy with the Citadel range. As I've said loads of times, it's more about access to them, rather, to be able to pick up the odd pot of paint here and there to replace things and stuff. My local hobby stores don't really do. The local gaming store only does GW stuff, only does the GW paints, and then any kind of other stores. Actually, what else is there? No, I think there's like a supermarket type thing. Does a little bit of a paint range, but they do very little. They do a little bit of Vallejo and the entire GW range, and then there's like Hobbycraft type place who basically just do like Tamiya and stuff. So yeah, I just find it easier. And when you're buying online and you only need a pot or something like that, you end up paying as much in postage as you do for a pot of paint. So the price differences don't really make much difference at that point. So yeah, so that's why I kind of, for all everybody keeps moaning about Citadel paints and about you have to clean the lids and the pots are rubbish and all that kind of stuff. it's still less hassle for me in the long run. Christian saying 420 marine grade stainless steel BBs are what I use, although I've switched to M5 stainless steel nuts now, as they don't get stuck in the top of the bottles. I've heard of somebody else saying to use stainless steel nuts. I think, to be honest, it was 420 grade. I was told that basically that I had, but they definitely rusted over time. So yeah, either the company wasn't getting what they thought they were getting, or I wasn't getting what I thought I was getting. Moxie's going to use brown contrast paint to paint some horses. Would you use a light primer or a grey or black? If you're going to use contrast paint, mate, don't use a black primer, because contrast paint won't cover the black very well. You're better off using sort of like a light primer, and then let the contrast paint do its work. Otherwise, what happens is they just get really dark, mate. The contrast doesn't really work over the top of black primer. You won't hardly even see the brown, to be fair. So yeah, you wanna keep your primer light, and then let the contrast paint kind of settle into the recesses and sit on the highlights, if you like. That's how contrast paint works. But yeah, you definitely need lighter colours. I tend to use something like a Ghost Grey from Vallejo. I've used Halford's Grey primer before, or I'll do like a Zenithal highlight. Start with black and then Zenithal highlight it with a grey or a white. Alright, so I'm just picking out some spots on these. It's going to need a couple of coats on this one, I think, but that'll do for just to get it started. Start to pick out a little bit of so you can see the difference in the two there now, where I've starting to pick out the yellow. I wanted to get a relatively bright yellow to it. James Bracey has got to go, sir. We'll catch you on the catch up. Thank you very much, buddy. Thank you very much. James Arms says, greetings, Andy. We'll be finishing my chaplain later tonight. It rounds out a fully painted 2,000 point Ultramarines. It was your stuff that I'd seen in the Patreon group, mate, wasn't it? It looks awesome. You've done a cracking job with that. There's just, you know what, like, I'm not suggesting yours isn't well painted, because it definitely was, but when you see those shots of armies sort of ranked up together, like it really does show them off in the best light. I love seeing the big kind of full army shots, because then your eye isn't drawn to every little fine detail. It's just your eye is drawn to the army as a whole, and that's exactly what you see on the tabletop. That's why sometimes you don't always need to paint everything to its highest standard. It just needs to be good enough, unless you're trying to kind of to raise your game a little bit and paint even better. So John Estel says the bunkers just started stocking all the army painted range, which I'm pleased with. We've already got quite a bit of their stuff. I find the army painted stuff takes a lot of agitating. You really have to work with it. It settles out terrible. They're decent enough paints, but I think even when you think you've shook them enough, you still haven't. You need to shake them again and again and again. And it's not, and they're pretty good once they've been shut up. But they just need a lot of work to get them to kind of like to homogenize them again, because they really do separate out. But I do like the little drop of bottles from the army painter. I'm surprised a lot of them companies don't actually put agitators in the bottles and just charge you that tiny little bit more for them, because they do need them. Like, they definitely need them. Jason says he's worked the COVID wing today. Glad to be out of that place for the day. I bet you are, mate. I bet you are. What was that video saying? Then again, as you transfer to droppers and add some flow improver, when you switch over and add the agitator, and it works out well for thickness. I'm not messing about changing them over to dropper bottles, mate. That's just too much work. It's just I don't have any problems with the pots. If you look after them, they're fine. So the hassle of just more expense. If I'm going to go to the expense of buying jotter bottles and then the time it takes to transfer them all over, I might as well just buy a different paint range and just have done with it, I think. So yeah, I'm happy with the pots. So I'm just drifting away into a world of my own there. Peter says, being bloody tempted by the For King and Country Black Friday deal from Warlord. I saw the Black Warlord, the email come through from Warlord about Black Friday, but I've not looked to see what they're selling. I see they've just taken somebody over, haven't they? I forget who it is, but like a model railway company. I think they've had some links with them in the past, or they've certainly been selling some of the stuff on their store. But I think they've basically taken them over now. Not Victrix. I can't remember what the name of the company is now. But yeah, it's. I saw that they'd picked somebody up. Somebody obviously mustn't be doing quite so well through this time. So good to see that they've been picked up and the business can continue for the stuff they sell. But yeah, I think it was predominantly model railway stuff, but I think they did a lot of stuff at the right skill for bolt action as well. Busey saying he was impressed with his localish gaming store, 55 minutes away, and they stock a lot of paint ranges, plus they speak English. You kind of forget that some of that stuff, mate. Obviously, I know you're over in Spain, and it's something you don't even consider, obviously, when you live in your native country, but especially when you've got like sort of expats going out to different countries and stuff, you kind of take some of that for granted that people speak English. Very, very naive of us as English people. But yeah, it's like I'm of a generation where you weren't really pushed to kind of learn languages at school. Like languages was still like an option when I was doing exams and stuff. Like not long after I sort of left school, they did change the curriculum, so you had to study a language to exam level. But yeah, at my age, it was purely optional. So of course, I'd rather take something like computers or design and technology over sort of learning French or German, which is what the options were at my school. So where are we up to? VJ says father and son day to day, planning a bush walk for later. He's watching Top Wings now. My little one likes that. I really should pull my finger out and do this green stuff job. The real Tirum says, really enjoying your channel last couple of days since I found it. My question is, what's the craziest mini you've painted? The craziest mini? Thank you very much, mate, by the way, for your kind words. Craziest mini. It was probably, I've painted a mini which was a Wild West Exodus mini, and it was a character dressed as Santa Claus, which had a dog, which had like antlers stuck to its head, and I forget what, like it wasn't Krampus, but it was some weird kind of like Christmas special mini, and that was pretty crazy. I've painted some weird looking, I'm saying weird, from weird miniatures as well. Some of the Malifaux stuff from back in the day was pretty strange too. Let me just get this a bit more focus on the camera there as well. Focus on what I'm actually painting for a change. So yeah, that's probably nothing too unusual. I wouldn't say that I can remember. I'm sure there's been other stuff, but yeah, painting sort of killer teddy bears and stuff like that for Malifaux is probably about as crazy as it's gotten, I think. Where are we up to? VG was saying, oh sorry, James Zarm is saying, I've been trying to up your standard a bit with the clean look with edge highlight and definitely a process though. Yeah, I quite like the cleaner look as well, mate. I want to try doing a bit more weathering. It's not something I've done a lot of in the past, so more just for my own interest really. I want to try doing some weathering stuff. I bought some chipping medium the other day to try doing some bits of weathering stuff, so I'll be trying that out at some point. VGC, I'm pretty sure it was the army painted ones. I think that was Uncle Adamson. You need to squeeze out the layer, protect the fluid on top before you shake it up. Otherwise, they come out too thin. I can't imagine they're going to put like a protective layer inside it. I think what actually does come out is basically as it separates out inside. Like obviously the paints haven't been used because they're brand new. I think what you do is you basically get like stuff settles. Obviously the heavier stuff, the actual pigment, all settles to the bottom. And if you give them a little shake when you first sort of squeeze it out, what you're basically getting is that kind of the almost just the acrylic medium without any paint in it, which is sitting on the top of the bottle. And because like I say, you really have to shake army painter stuff. Like you've got to really agitate it. What happens is nobody ever shakes it enough, and that stuff that's sitting on the top doesn't get mixed in. So when you come and squeeze it out, it's basically like it's really watery and it looks awful. So I don't think you necessarily have to take it out. It's more a case of just understanding that army painter stuff needs it needs really kind of vigorous shaking, and it could really do with an agitator as well in there. But like think about how you're supposed to shake a spray can, how long you're meant to shake that for, like rather than just kind of like a 10-second little shake of a pot of paint like we do normally. You really do have to agitate it and get it all to mix in together. So yeah, so I suppose if what you do is if you open up the bottle and pour off the top bit, what you're essentially doing is you're pouring off just the kind of the acrylic medium, and then basically it's not there when you try and squeeze it out. So yeah, but I don't think it's like I don't think it's specifically a protective thing. I think it's just the way it's separated out inside the bottle. Where else we at? Tony, whoever suggested the Tamiya extra thin glue, thank you. Tidiest gluing I've ever done with it. Yeah, I've not tried the Tamiya stuff. I know a lot of people do speak very highly of it. You see it for the like the scale modelers using it a lot, don't you? You see them using it. Andrew Fairbanks says, "Don't worry, all I'm here." Nice to see you, mate. But we say I moved all my GW paints to drop bottles. Makes painting way more efficient if doing lots of models. Yeah, I can imagine, mate. If you're that's your job, innit? Do you know what I mean? You're doing a lot of commission painting and stuff like that. So I can imagine it's more efficient. But for me, the time it takes to get them all across into dropper bottles is just wasted time for me for how often I paint. Yeah. So VG saying it's so much better than the GW or Revel stuff. I like the Revel stuff. The GW stuff, the problem with the GW glue used to be the fact that the applicators were garbage. I think it comes with a pin now, but it never used to. When I used to buy it years and years ago. So it's gluing things like metals and stuff that I always have a problem with. I've never had any problem with the plastic stuff. But yeah, my Gorilla Glue with the brush and nozzle is still going strong. So I'm happy with how that's panned out. Just gives me a couple of options on how to use it. It's great for like if I'm pinning stuff. So I just kind of use the brush and just run the pin along the brush and do it that way. And then if I'm actually trying to be a bit more specific with where I put it at and put like a tiny little, like I was gluing some magnets to some bases the other day, and you can use the dropper bottle part to just put some in the right place. Peter says, honestly, I paint so much my Citadel paints don't have time to go bad. There's always that as well, mate, isn't there? There's always that. I found since I started kind of looking after them properly, just making sure I kind of cleaned them, and it's not like it takes like sort of significant time. It's just keeping an eye on them. If it looks like they're starting to kind of gunk up around the lid a little bit, just the little kind of trick of pushing them inside out like I showed on that video, giving it a quick clean over, and away you go again, really. So I find that it just keeps it going for me. And as you can see, there's a decent range of Citadel paints behind me here, or behind the money, I should say, not behind me. So those folks that are waiting for their Armada stuff coming, you see Mantic have got one of their virtual open days on Saturday where they've got a few surprises to show off, I believe. I don't know what they are, just what Rob was telling me. There's some surprises, some fun stuff to look forward to, I think. So it'll be interesting to tune in and catch up with that. I think I've got a few things I need to do at the weekend, but I'll have that on as a bit of background listening and viewing, I think. So I'll be sure to say hi if I see any of you lot in the chat. Let's just join a little bit where we do the box of the sales. Andrew says, are you mumbling away from the mic or have the volume turned down? Probably mumbling, mate. I think I'm just talking to myself, that's all. The microphone's right in front of me. It's here. In fact, I'll show you. Look, it's here. So yeah, it is right in front of me. I'm probably just speaking quiet, mate. I'll just have a look on the audio there. Now, I mean the levels are okay, so we'll see how it cracks on. It's probably just me turning away from the microphone as well a little bit. And I think when I'm sitting painting, I tend to just. It might be when I turn away like that to put my brush in the paint. It could be that as well. But yeah, the volume levels are exactly the same as they normally are, mate. I think it's just when I'm sitting painting, I'm like less animated. I think just a bit more kind of a bit quieter anyway, naturally. So that's probably all it is. That's probably. I'll try speaking up. Tony saying, Tamiya extra thin, Revel contactor 2 go-tos. Christian says the Army Painter Starter Guidebook recommends the first time you open a pot and squeeze out 4-inch line to get rid of the excess medium. Oh, that's probably what it is. And yeah, it's just the excess stuff sitting on the top, isn't it? The problem with that is, why is there excess medium in there? Because you're paying for that, basically. And second of all, when was the last time anybody actually reads instructions for paints? So it's a bit of a shame if that's the case. But yeah, I assume that excess medium is just the way it's settling out. And if it is excess, it shouldn't be in there. Anyway. Carla's in as well. Hello, Carla. How are you doing? Ariel Sanchez says, hi, guys. I'm fed up with GW and recently started to look at other options. This and God Tier are really calling me. I'm a big fan of God Tier. Hello, by the way. I'm a big fan of God Tier, as I'm sure anybody who watches the channel more frequently will know. So I obviously am going to sort of say nice things about that. And obviously Armada's is pretty new as well. So it starts to ship out to people back end of this week, which will be good to see. It'll be good to see some other people painting ships up and seeing different designs and different people's different takes on them. So yeah, that'll be fun to see. Well, can I ask why are you getting fed up with GW stuff? I find a lot of people like say that, like they're fed up with GW stuff, but I don't know if are they fed up with the pricing? Are they finding they're not getting games and stuff? Is that what's kind of driving them away a little bit? I'm just always interested to understand why folks feel that way about different game systems. Because I notice you're not getting fed up with 40k, or you're not getting fed up with AOS. You're getting fed up with GW. Hence the question. Where are we up to? Christian sharing the link there for Patreon as well. Thank you very much, Christian, for sharing that. Busey saying he switched to Revel contactor stuff now. The smell is lovely. John says, I wonder if there's any news in this sports game Mantic are looking for playtesters for. I very briefly spoke to Rob this week, and he did reference it, and I don't know how much of it's common knowledge or not, so I'm not going to mention what he said. I haven't really been keeping up to speed with it, so But it sounds interesting. It sounds very interesting. So no doubt some of that might... I don't know how much they'll share, because if they're only at the play testing stage, they're obviously not want to kind of give the game away too much about what it is. Otherwise, there's no point getting everybody signing NDAs and stuff, which is why I'm hesitant about really saying anything. But yeah, it's good to see they're Mantic are looking to continue and extend their range of stuff. And you know, with Mantic stuff, they tend to, other than with Armada here, they tend to sort of be able to like double up on the uses for models and things, get the most out of the models that you own, give more opportunities for people to buy Mantic stuff. So yeah, I can think it's only going to be a positive thing. Lord Maiden says that sounds like it would be a better thing to watch the Mantic thing and see the GW news afterwards. The thing with the GW one is they basically they spend a long time talking about stuff without really giving a huge amount of detail away, and then basically if you read the community site, it basically gives you like a very quick summary of what they've just spoke about for the last 40 minutes. They tend not to say an awful lot in the stream itself that they don't then publish on the community website. It's not like you're getting like extra information generally, because they save the details to publish for the next 7 days. So it's one of those things where if the GW stream's on and I'm not doing anything, I sometimes kind of put it on in the background just to listen to and keep an eye out and see the pictures of the new minis. But generally, I just find they're less about giving information, and they're more of a bit of a hype machine these days. Just building it up, and what you essentially get is you get two blokes sitting in front of a camera with secret hidden boxes down by their feet, saying about how excited they are to look inside the box. And it's less about actually giving out genuine information. It's more of a kind of like an early hype builder, which is a bit of a shame, really. It would be nice if those streams were a bit more detailed and they went into the details a bit more often. They did a good job with 9th edition when they were previewing that, but generally it's more like sneak peeks at some stuff as opposed to any kind of concrete information. VG says the questions I'm getting at Armada for his birthday at the end of November or Christmas in December. Oh, I'll tell you what, mate. You want to get it as early as possible, and then you can get it all built and painted, ready for when you can start. I suppose you're starting to get games in now anyway over in Australia. It's just us over here who's not really getting the chance to play games. It's in the extra month of waiting might kill him. Tasty Brain Drain says, what time on Saturday will the Mantic stream be? I can't remember, mate. I think it tends to start like about 10 o'clock in the morning, but it goes like all day. It's because they normally have their open days where you can go and sort of play some games, and they have like seminars where they talk about stuff. So because obviously they can't have their open days, they do these virtual open days, which is kind of where they have like live stream slots where somebody will come and talk about Kings of War, and then like the next hour somebody will come and talk about I don't know, let's say Dread Ball, and then the next hour somebody comes to talk about Dead Zone. But they always sort of publish the schedule well in advance. So if you have a look on the Mantic Facebook group or the Mantic blog on their website, it should have the information that you need there, mate, and you'll know what you're interested in and when to tune in. The one that Ronnie does is always at the end of the day, so about 4 o'clock, something like that. And that tends to be where he shares a bit more like sort of future plans and stuff like that, which is always interesting. I think half of the staff watch that one just to find out what they're going to be working on, because he's well known for kind of leaking information that as a business they haven't really kind of talked about yet. So I think half the staff tend to tune in for that one just to find out what's going on. Bobby Clark says, I'm filming some painting tutorial soon. Find it a nightmare to get the ideal camera position. Do you have any tips? First of all, mate, it's practice. You've just got to keep moving it around, seeing where it's comfortable. Some people like them over the top of their shoulder, coming down. Some people like them directly above, like out of the way completely. I've actually got mine sort of here, like in front of me, so where I'm sitting, my camera's clamped to a table, and my hands are in front of the camera, and I'm sitting behind the camera. But I've just found it that this is the most kind of comfortable for me to paint it. It feels the most natural painting position, if that makes sense. But what I would say is, like, obviously you do a lot of painting, but being a commission painter, you have to be comfortable, because what you'll do is you will have a natural painting position that, with all of the painting that you do, almost like muscle memory. Where I've almost had to kind of retrain myself to paint, because I used to paint more like sitting with it like in front of my face and stuff. You can't do that for camera; it's a nightmare. So I've almost had to, like, I think my painting's got a bit worse, because I'm actually painting it like from a distance now, but at least I can keep it on the camera now. So yeah, my only advice, mate, would be just keep moving it around. The hardest bit is just finding the right equipment to hold the camera in the place where you want it to be. I've got like tripods with boom arms. I've got like a friction clamp, which is what I'm using here. So yeah, my advice, mate, would be just keep testing and keep trying. Warwick Dark Edge, good evening, mate. How the devil are you? Says, if you play GW Specialist games, their releases are annoying. Underworlds, the seasons and changes mean lots of buy-in. Necromunda has books that replace other books on the way, so more buy-in. I know, I do understand that, like that's their business model. That's how they sell stuff, but you don't have to buy everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you play a game competitively, you're gonna have to keep up with it. But if you don't play it competitively, if you just play with a few friends, like you don't have to buy anything really. But I think with like GW have done a really good job of convincing people they do need to have everything, without actually coming out and saying, oh, by the way, you need to have everything. They've created this kind of they've created a fear of missing out, and they've created hype around stuff. And these stream things that they do a very similar message of kind of telling everybody the new stuff's coming, and like, don't forget to pre-order it and you need it. But most of their games, especially in the current climate, where we're not getting a lot of games in, you definitely don't need everything. But like, yeah, something like Underworlds, unless you are trying to win tournaments, you honestly don't need to be buying every warband that comes out, because let's be honest, you're buying them for the cards that's in the pack. It's not like you're buying them because one warband's better than another one or something like that. Although I'm sure that is the case as well, but people are just buying them for the cards that's in the packs. It's one of the things I don't like about Underworlds, if I'm honest. Paul says, I kind of left GW behind through a more natural process. I think I kind of just grew out of it. I find that there is only war aspect of 40k setting to be a bit immersion breaking. To be honest, I never really, like, for all when I first started Hobby, and I started painting GW stuff, but again, it was just, didn't have a hobby shop in town. There was a Games Workshop in the shopping centre, and that was where I bought some models to paint and stuff. But my gaming's never really been that GW focused. I've always kind of played other people's games. Like the first game that I really spent any time playing was Malifaux, and then I moved from Malifaux to War Machine, and then I moved on to kind of things like Dead Zone, and I moved on to things like Walking Dead, and that kind of stuff. So GW games have always kind of been, like, I've always dabbled with them. I played AOS for quite some time, and I've tried to play Blood Bowl. I've bought 40k stuff. Obviously I'm a big fan of Warcry. So GW games are part of my hobby, but I've never been like a GW fanboy. I've never been completely like immersed in the universe of 40k. I'm definitely just drawn to nice models. So I think that's why I'm kind of less of the feeling of feeling drawn into them that I have to buy everything when something comes out, which is probably interesting. Dirk's in as well. Hello, Dirk. VG saying, okay, Dead Zone folks, is there a guide or video online with good ways to glue together the terrain like what Andy did for Warcry? No, mate, there's not. He says, I want to glue together but one good multi-purpose build. The problem is, mate, is I started doing a Dead Zone board actually for video, and I must admit I need to go back and finish it. But what I find is that for all it is, it's modular, so you can build it in multiple different ways. It works best if you kind of glue it together, because it's not the kind of stuff you want to be taken apart. It's a lot stronger once it's glued together. So it's more a case of it's modular, which allows you to build it however you like. But then once you decide however you like, you're far better off just sticking it together. And there is no way to build it. Like, there's no set way to build it, basically. The idea is basically you just kind of expand it over time and build big 3D boards, because essentially what happens is you don't get a huge amount of it in the starter set. So all you're trying to do is you're trying to maximize places to hide behind and to kind of give you cover and stuff. But the game really comes alive with a lot more terrain when you start to build much more three-dimensional boards, because height plays such a big part in the game as well. So as opposed to advice, my advice would be stick it together, if I'm perfectly honest. Kind of dry fit it together before you paint it. Dry fit it together, get some builds, see what you think works from a gameplay perspective, what looks nice on the table, and then once you're happy with it, I would stick it together. And if you want to change it up, I just buy more terrain. It's not hugely expensive in the grand scheme of things. That would be my advice. It's certainly what I've done. Peter says he never looked at the GW news. I get spammed in screenshots on Facebook a bit afterwards anyway. Yeah, I think there's plenty of people kind of sitting waiting to jump on it and give you the latest news on it. It's one of the reasons I don't do the kind of like, oops, the magnet on the bottom of this getting stuck on the pins. It's one of the reasons I don't do the kind of like the live streams about the GW stuff. Like there's already plenty of people doing that kind of bits and pieces. When I say the live streams, I mean there are a lot of channels that like live stream reactions to those kind of like announcement days, and I just find that there's plenty of streams do it. I don't need to add to that. I'm not that deep into 40k stuff or GW stuff that I'm knowledgeable enough to give like any kind of meaningful opinion really. So yeah, I tend to watch them as a with an interest in case there's anything new that I am massively interested in. But yeah, I get just as much information from reading the Warhammer community site, which to be fair, they do a pretty good job, that Warhammer community site. I can't knock them for that. They do a good job. Right, I'll just tidy up this a little bit. I'm just building up some thin layers of this one really, just trying to fill bits in, because I'm going to lighten it up in certain areas. Right, while that's drying, I think we'll put a little bit of highlighting the silver up. Andrew Fairbanks says, I miss the old GW days of random rumours from unscrupulous sources. Not to say I don't like the one-way communication, but the old mill rumours were a bit of fun. Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. I mean, there still kind of is like leaks, and there still is rumours and stuff like that come out. But generally, as soon as something does come out, they tend to jump on it pretty quick themselves, don't they, and just announce it. Oh, there's Siri talking away. Speaking of, this is what happens with ball bearings when they rust, when you're not expecting them. Yeah, don't use ball bearings, folks. I've got a new pot of Rune Fang steel actually to replace that one. Where was the steel I was just going to use? Something a bit brighter than that, I think. What's that one? Iron Breaker. Let's have a little bit of Iron Breaker. Lord says, I found the same with the last one. I was prepping the Judge Dredd minis and went, cool, any info on it? Yeah, any info on it, yeah. Tony said, I tend to paint whatever I like, so I'm not emotionally invested in one company. Certainly helps remain objective. Yeah, I think unless you're massively kind of into 40k, like if you're a tournament player, that type of stuff, or you're really into the lore and the background of AOS and stuff, generally you can live without watching those streams, to be fair. Andrew Fairbanks saying half the US is trying to lock itself down too. Peter Kuhlman says Terrain Tutor had one on magnetising it. Yeah, you can magnetise that stuff, but to be honest, it's more grief than it's worth, honestly. I mean, obviously your mileage might vary. You might find that you want to magnetise it, but in my experience, it's just not worth the hassle. Right, a little bit of this silver here, and we'll get in here and we'll tidy some of this up, brighten it up a little bit. Let's get back on the camera there a bit. Just trying it where the wash has darkened it down a little bit more than I wanted to. We'll just brighten it up a little bit, and then come in for the guns as well, where I've dry brushed the browns and stuff, and just clip the edges of it. Where are we up to? So look for schedules, yeah. The Real Term says, what's your thought around best? Around best what term? The best model I've painted? The best models? I think it's I can't really see it. I can't really see what the best model I've painted. I think it kind of changes with time. I think at the time, a lot of the models that I paint, I feel like are the best ones at the time. Because I tend to buy stuff for the way it looks, really. Unless I'm just like it's in a starter set or something like that. I tend to just buy the stuff that I like the look of. I'm definitely, like, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a casual gamer, although I am quite casual in that. I'm more of a hobbyist who likes to play with the stuff I paint. I think is probably more apt. I think, because I'm certainly not a kind of like a win at all costs gamer, and I'm not really. I suppose I'm a narrative gamer to an extent, but I think I'm definitely more of a hobby gamer. I like to play with the things that I'm painting, so yeah, best is I guess it's kind of subjective, and it's sometimes more to do with the mood I'm in or the game I'm excited about at the time. Like, I really enjoyed painting those Armada ships, the Basilean ones. I really enjoyed painting them, and I think that some of that was to do with the fact that I'd painted a lot of like human-esque miniatures up until that point, and it was a really nice kind of change of pace. I'm liking painting the Super Fantasy Brawl minis just because the scale and the size of them is quite nice. Peter saying he has them unglued. Yeah, I just find they're not stable enough when they're unglued. It's a nice idea, those clips, but I just don't find them stable enough. One little nudge and the whole thing comes down. Warwick saying that, well, I was given reasons why someone may give up on GW. They also do many cards now, and those are limited and immediately go out of print, like they want scalpers to make fortunes on them. No, I appreciate, mate. You were given the reasons, but I just wondered. It was just. I just wonder why it was giving up on GW as opposed to giving up on a particular game. That was where I found interesting. Like, I can't say I've ever really given up on a company. I might not enjoy a particular game and not play it anymore, but unless the company's done something almost kind of like offensive almost, or really pissed me off for whatever reason, I tend to be more concerned about the game itself and less concerned about the company. Right, how am I going to paint those spikes? I think we'll we'll come in and do a bit more with the Screaming Skull, I think, and paint up these horns at the back of the ship. Paul says, I still have a soft spot for GW, but I can't really get into the games. I lean more towards Mantic and Infinity settings. I think aesthetically they just resonate with me more. Yeah, I think that's it. The games have to kind of they have to kind of float your boat, if you like. Pardon the pun today. They have to be appealing to you. Whether that's visually from just because you like the look of the models, or whether it's visually from the aesthetic of the game. Yeah, like Infinity, I absolutely adore the aesthetic for Infinity and the world in the background. Just the game's a bit more complex than I tend to play casually or play infrequently, and there's no real player base near me. Oh, Ariel saying there, mainly pricing. Sorry, I'm a husband, father, so my budget is time limited and time limited. Even though I stick to Kill Team, Warcry, Underworlds, the price hikes are taking a toll, so I'm looking for better value for money. Yeah, I can get that, mate. I can get that. Peterson, since he started using third-party rules for 40k and fantasy, feels like he's got back into it. Just the mods I've got TW books out there seem cheaper. Yeah. If you're into those kind of rule sets, I can see how that would be an advantageous thing. Right, just thin that down a little bit. And we'll just pick out some of the horns on these ships. Thomas is in. Good evening, Thomas. How are you? Paul said he's finished Darth Maul. Who's next, Qui-Gon or Obi? I don't think I've seen the Qui-Gon Jinn model actually, mate. That would be cool. See that one. Where are you up to? Kieran's in as well. Evening all. Hope no one had just dipped their brush in their drink. No, it's one of the reasons I keep my drink well out of reach, mate. Once you've done it once, it's not something you want to repeat on a regular basis. Let me just move that light a little bit, because the top of my brushes keep touching it. Just tidy those bits. VG saying, I love when GW does those potato cam things. Yeah, I could never decide if those potato cam things were actually done intentionally, like as a bit of a marketing ploy, or if it was literally somebody in a Chinese factory somewhere leaking those things out. Because we've got so much technology now, with everybody's got like a decent phone in their camera, or pretty much everybody, I should say. That rubbishy pictures like that almost felt leaked, and I know they kind of embraced it as the potato cam thing, and once them things got leaked, they tended to jump quite quickly into releasing stuff themselves. But yeah, it did always feel like it was a bit contrived at times, and I'm not sure if it was sort of real or not. Like, were they really being leaked, or were they being leaked? Peter says, I actually ordered some extra connectors and attached them both out and inside where I can. Makes them pretty sturdy. Yeah, I mean, I put as many connectors in as I can, mate, but putting them in and out all the time is a pain in the arse. And when you start to paint, if you paint them up, you end up filling in the little holes with paint as well. And I just find it easier to stick them together, mate. I just bought extra terrain so that I've got multiple ways to lay it out. I'll try to get some shots tomorrow of the terrain I've got. I think you might have seen them at some point in the past, but they're 90% painted now, to be fair. I left the last building unpainted to do it for a bit of a kind of a painting video about how I quickly paint up the dead zone terrain, because it can be used for like 40k and stuff. It's great for Infinity as well. That kind of like blocky buildings. So it can be used for multiple systems. And to be fair, I know it's not everybody's aesthetic. Not everybody likes that style. But like that kind of like blocky terrain for me works really well, as if it's some kind of it's repurposed kind of shipping containers that like there's a law reason why it looks like that in Dead Zone, about how they've kind of like they've shipped all of their weapons and stuff to the planet in them, and then used them as buildings. So as they're locking down the different containment places. So I quite like the Dead Zone terrain, if I'm honest. I like I said before, I like the fact that it's modular, so you can build it however you like. But I just don't find it the best for keep taking apart and rebuilding again. It's the same with the terrain for Infinity as well. The Infinity terrain that comes like in the Code 1 starter set is really, really nice. I mean, it's just card terrain, but it looks so much better than that. But it's a bit fiddly to put together, some of the buildings, and I wouldn't want to keep breaking it down every time after I built it. And to be fair, I'd probably go similar with some of the battle system stuff as well. Some of the battle systems card terrain, I wouldn't want to keep breaking it down and rebuilding it. So modular is nice, but sometimes it's just as well just gluing it together. Unless you want to go through the if you want to go through magnetizing everything. Problem is when you start magnetizing everything and then you play somebody who's got magnets on the bottoms of the models for transport, it ends up jumping all over the place. Vijay saying, what third-party rules are you using? Peter Cooman's saying. Thomas is saying he's fine. Good night to see you, mate. Long time no see. Spent almost all of last 8 months working 10 hours a day in his basement. Oh God, mate. I hope you're coming out of that now. Andrew said, I don't ever have the brush dip drinking paint problem. I use a cleaned out plastic container of sour cream as his paint water. And Vijay saying, yeah, pics would be great. Yeah, I'll sort some out tomorrow, mate. The board's all kind of like, it's all set up. It's all in one piece kind of thing, ready just to continue working on the bits and pieces. It's just in storage. So yeah, I'll get you some pictures tomorrow, mate. Remind me on if I forget. But yeah, I'll dig them out, mate, and show you those. Right, I think I'm coming to a point now where it doesn't need to have too much more stuff done with it. Where does this one go? Yeah, if you really saw the level of my OCD of on these paint racks behind each of these bottles of paint, there's a piece of paper with the name of the paint, so I know they all go back in the same place. And that way I can also tell which ones I'm missing. Christian Chiena, a link for the merch there as well. Thank you very much, mate. Into Zone 88, hello to you. Says really like the leaks when people looked at the shipping manifest to see what GW was shipping. Yes. Deep Red said, have you seen the pop-up 40k terrain on Kickstarter? I have seen it, and it's a nice kind of novel idea, but I'm not sure how practical it would be long term. It looks a really good idea for kind of popping up stuff for a tournament or something like that. But yeah, it's the kind of thing I'd like to get my hands on before making a decision on something like that. Otherwise, games end up feeling very much like gridded and stuff like that. Into Zone said, I use small condiment jars, his paint water jar. It has a lid to stop pets from drinking them from the water. I actually just use one of these. One of my mates got one as like a Secret Santa gift off somebody at work, and he already had one, so he gave me his. So yeah, so that's what I use. So I don't drink mine. And I drink my hot black currant out of my mug. Right, now to decide what colour to paint these axes. Now, part of me wants to go quite kind of bright with them and put them make them like purple or something like that. Make them really stand out. I don't want to go with red. What's your thoughts, folks? What color would you go with those axes on the ship? There still needs a bit more layering on those sails, but because to be fair, that one's pretty. If I can just put that one in with a pin, they're pretty covered up. To be fair, Christian saying lilac, pale purple. Yeah, that's what I'm literally just looking at. I'm looking at this as like a highlight for it, mate. To be fair, I was just looking at maybe start with like a Zerberus purple, and then highlight up from there. I had considered green as well, mate, for the Orcs, but I just didn't know if the green. I know it goes like Green Bay Packers type stuff. I know the green will go with it, but I'm just thinking something a bit more. I'll tell you what. Let's try put a couple of colours together and see how it looks. See how we green. 20 CN, do you use 2 water pots? I do, mate. So that's my water pot for washing and rinsing, and that's my water pot, the old GW ones. That's my old one for clean water. So yes, I do, mate. In answer to your question, do you know what? I think I'm going to go with the purple just to make it stand out a little bit. I know I always use my my rule of NFL teams to decide what colours go together. Busy saying, do you use a Dymo label printer to paint the label names? I print them off just on a A4 printer, mate, just a normal one, and then just cut them into strips. Right, so we're going to use this one. As I'm opening these new pots of paint, I'm dropping the little agitators in as well. Jared saying he uses 2 water pots, one for metallic paints and one for regular paints. Oops, just bounce it across the table there. Try to get that. It's hard to open there, the little plastic tin. Drop that in there, give it a shake. Jared saying, evening guys, by the way. Good evening to you, Jared. How are you doing? Right. Get some paint onto the palette. Right, so this one is it Xerus or Xerius purple? Thin that down a bit. Yeah, I just saw that, Bobby. I used to just use a little dropper bottle just for water, just to kind of keep dropping it onto the tail, but I kind of just keep forgetting to use it. If I'm honest, I think I'm just stuck in my ways. VJ is saying he's doing an IP mashup, so the big fat Skaven star player for Blood Bowl is Mickey Mouse, doing the ears and the nose in green stuff. Nice one, mate. I look forward to seeing that one. I look forward to it. So as I was saying before, like color-wise, I tend sometimes to use kind of like football teams, or NFL teams, soccer teams for those non-English people as well. Like obviously, the colours of their strips and stuff like that, and their uniforms tend to always complement each other, even when the colours clash. Like they're designed to clash and go together. So yeah, this is one of those instances, I think. Just get a little bit of paint, a bit of water there. Thinning paint is something I still don't think after all these years I've got right. And I think it's because nobody's ever kind of sat down beside me when I've been painting and said, is that how you do it? I definitely think once lockdown restrictions and stuff, maybe next year when things start to get a little bit better, or if I can get to Adepticon next year, if it's on and stuff, I think I might try and sort of sign myself up for some painting lessons or painting tutorials, almost just to get the basics right. Because I mean I can paint. but I kind of just paint in my own style, in my own way. And everything I do is just kind of self-taught. It's not like anybody's ever sat me down and went, well, this is how you do it. And YouTube stuff tends to be much more focused at, like, it seems to skip over the basics generally. It seems to be much more aimed at, like, sort of intermediate painters, people wanting to step up to the next level. There's a lot of assumption that that people know the basics, I think. And then even the GW videos, they kind of, like, you know, they say, like, just put a little bit of water on the thing, you thin it down. But it's even that sometimes, like, just assumes that you know that bit. So he's saying, yeah, pot for regular painting, pot for metals, and drop a bottle with deionized within. Yeah. So you lot are all care a lot more about your painting than I do. I think that's the difference. I'm happy enough with that. That'll stand out. Bobby says thinning paint can lead to some remarkably smooth effects and finishes. Yeah, I think, like, even when I thin my stuff down, like I even then I don't tend to get, like, sort of like blending or layering right, which is why I think, like, over a number of years I've just developed my own kind of sort of style and my own feel for doing a more sort of exaggerated cartoon-like style, and I like it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not, like, sort of complaining about it. I like how it turns out, but I think I end up painting in that style now. So even if I could kind of paint in a different way, I just keep falling back into my old habits and my old comfort zone, if you like. It's why I'm like, when I've painted my marines and stuff, and I've used the airbrush to get that kind of, like, smoother highlights and stuff and layers. That's why they look different to most of the stuff I've painted. Right. Let's get. Tony says, I put one drop of washing up liquid in his water pot to house break surface tension and prevent coffee staining. I've heard that as well, mate. I've never done it, but I've heard it. There's loads of little tricks like that as well, mate. That they almost end up becoming like old wives' tales, and unless you know somebody who does it, like, you get kind of forgotten about. Lord Maiden says, do you mean for people who do more than slap paint on their models? Yeah. I mean, how many people we got? We got like 48 people sitting watching this now, I think. Watching me come and slap some paint onto models. Yeah. Nick, thank you very, very much, sir. That is much appreciated. It's just going to pop now there. It says, your videos and live streams really help motivate me to sculpt and paint. Please keep up the great work. Thanks very much, man. That's a huge donation, and it's massively appreciated. I mean, like, it's kind of, I think I've said this before. It's kind of hard for me to understand, like, how people see these painting streams. Like, part of these painting streams started because of lockdown, and everybody just kind of stuck at home, and I was trying to give people, like, something to tune into, if you like, something regular, something that wasn't a difficult watch, if you like. It was more kind of like painting company, almost like a live stream podcast type thing, just, you know, just a bit of comfort, really, just a bit of background painting. But it was also like, I'm going to have to sit and paint stuff. Like, I need to paint stuff for videos, for reviews, to kind of to give my opinion on stuff, how, like, you know, to take pictures, just to like for marketing type stuff for my own, like when I say marketing, I mean marketing me and my channel and that kind of stuff. So if I'm going to sit and paint anyway, rather than like I sat and worked on my own all day, like doing videos and things, like sitting here in my office, studio, spare bedroom, whatever you want to call it. It was nice for me to have a bit of company, really. So it was a bit of a mixed bag. So for all it might be helping other people, I appreciate Nick saying that because I assume it does in that case. It kind of helps me as well. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, really. And like I say, it's hard for me to understand, to be on the other side of the camera, other side of the screen, and just watch, really. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Massively appreciate that. Thank you. St. Louis Keith, hello, mate. Says you're the English Bob Ross. I tell you what, mate. That's probably the nicest compliment I've had in ages. I'll take that. So I'll put that on my gravestone. The English Bob Ross was here. Tony saying the washing up liquid trick is great for washers when you're wanting to do very precise needle washes. I'll have to try that, mate. I've never tried it with washers. Lord Maiden says it's a good thing if you have people watching you slap paint onto a model. I just like slapping paint onto a model. It was one of the kind of objectives with doing this, really, is I want to show that like not everybody who's kind of like does painting streams is like is an artist. That not everybody is not everybody who paints minis is like an award winner or a golden demon winner type thing. You know, some people just paint because they enjoy it, and you don't always have to. Excuse me. You don't always have to win an awards for what you do. You just need to enjoy it. So that was kind of part of it, really. And I've kind of got broad shoulders. I don't really mind if people don't like me or don't like my painting or whatever it is. So I'm not too precious about any kind of like negative comments. But I don't really get any, if I'm honest. So yeah, thank you, Nick, and thank you for the English Bob Ross thing as well, St. Louis Keith. Thank you. I will certainly take that comment. Oops. Bobby says, I think when you're shown a cool new technique face to face, it soon dawns on people how easy it is to ramp up their skill level, especially as you can ask exactly why it's done that way. That's exactly, mate, why I fancy doing a bit of a painting lesson or something like that, like actually getting face to face tutorial stuff. Like I'd like somebody to physically show me, like try this, try doing it this way. Like what you're doing's fine, but try something different. Feature's saying, okay, ears, nose and pants buttons done. Trying to sculpt the gloves. Feature's saying 100% Tony, I think it was Donna Howell video I picked up the glazed medium tip from. I like Donna Howell. She's another one who's quite chilled, quite relaxed. I was watching somebody else at the weekend as well. I can't remember her name now. Another female painter. And she had quite a nice manner. Anybody that knows her, she did a video recently which was about like different techniques and stuff, and she basically had a cat climbing around all over while she was doing it, and she had quite a nice manner in the way she was presenting her painting videos. I found that quite nice to watch. But yeah, generally, a lot of what I do isn't really to try and push the boundaries, to try and the mini witch Tony Booth Leiden, thank you very much, mate. That might have been her. What I'm trying to do is not really trying to kind of like push the boundaries. It's about getting stuff done, which is great. But I'm thinking about treating myself. Like people are asking me what I want for my birthday next week. Like my sister rang me today to say like, you know, what do you want and stuff. And I said like, to be honest, there's nothing I really need. Like there's nothing I really kind of like feel like I want at the minute, but I'm considering buying myself or getting as a gift like something that is more just for me to paint, nothing to do with playing games, like something that is more purely just purely just to kind of just to paint in a nice way, whether it's like a bust or whether it's like a tank or something like that, or like a big vehicle where I can use my airbrush and I can try out some weathering techniques. I'm considering trying to like maybe just do something like that, just something for me, not to play a game, purely just to try and set myself a bit of a painting task to see, because just to see what I can do. because it's been a long time since I actually painted to see, like, skill wise what I can achieve. Everything I do now is pretty much just get it done. It looks good on the table kind of thing. Like if I take these for example, these ships. So these are the ones that I did for Armada, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. Like I understand brush control and stuff, and I understand color theories, and like I'm fine with basic stuff. But so I'm happy with the level of my painting now. I'm not complaining. I don't think I'm like a terrible painter or anything like that. But I've never really done anything to kind of to push to see what I'm actually capable of, or to see where I can improve. Peter saying, honestly, I always paint in batches, sometimes 1 week at a time, sometimes 2 weeks, nothing. Watching the live streams now means that at least 2 fixed days of modelling, painting, get things done. That's good, mate. Because, I mean, to be fair, like I said, I've not done any painting since last week, which is why I'm finishing this one off, really. That's why I'm just continuing with this. So if it wasn't for this live stream, I probably wouldn't get any painting done either. Bobby says, when I did some face-to-face lessons last time, I had 4 grown-ups nodding at their new learned skills. They were buzzing within 20 minutes and confident enough to take on anything. Whereabouts are you, Bobby? Whereabouts? I'm pretty sure you're in the UK, aren't you? Whereabouts are you, mate? Right. I now need to paint the little kind of the ring things on here. And I think we'll just go with a really dark brown, I think. I'm a big fan of Rhinox Hide. It's one of my favourite colours, actually, when I'm painting. Other side of Hexham. Is that all you want, mate? Are you that close? Right, when things get a bit more back to normal, mate, I will come and purchase some painting lessons from you. Because I love your stuff. So, yeah. I'd quite happily come and do some painting with you. Right, let's give that a good mix. I had it in my head, mate, you were much further away than that. Other side of Hexham. Wow. Marcus says, just made it in and my arms are noodles. What you been doing, mate? I've just got this vision of you, like, for those who know the Mr. Men, Mr. Tickle with these kind of with these long arms. I've just got this vision in my head, mate. Andrew said, I remember when I grew up too, that you realise you have money so you can get what you want, and then you stop asking for toys and start asking for chores like clothes shopping. To be honest, do you know what it is, mate? One of the I think it's gone the other way for me. I think I ask for toys more now, mate. I think what tends to happen now is because of lockdown, because I don't work in an office, like, so I'm not buying like suits or shoes, like or shirts or anything like that anymore, and ties. Because I don't wear any of that stuff. I mean, I literally pretty much live in my own branded stuff now at the minute. I'm not buying anything for going out, like going to the pub or going out with my wife or anything like that for nights out. So clothes and stuff, generally not like been buying anything really. And I've lost a bit of weight recently, so I kind of got back into like a load of old clothes. So that was kind of a bit of a thing. And then like my wife was saying, well, do you want some new brushes, or do you want some like paint, or is there anything like that you want, like for hobby stuff? And it's like, well, actually, like, it's my business now. It's my job. Like that's what I spend like my income on. Like it's materials for me to do my job. So it feels weird getting them for, like, getting people to buy me stuff for then to use, like, for my job, if you like. And then when it comes to like models and that, I'm pretty much like, I'm okay at the minute. I bought myself some Malifaux stuff not long ago. I've still got some Wild West Exodus stuff to paint. I've got my Super Fantasy Brawl stuff to finish off. I've still got my Indomitus set to finish. So it's not like I need like lots of new models. But yeah, I think I'm kind of thinking that it's maybe treat myself to like something a little bit different that I wouldn't normally paint, just to do something different, something that's not necessarily for the channel. Although I might film it, but more that it's just for me to try, really. Paul says, I got a bust with the Halo Fleet Battles game. I really enjoyed painting. It's a very different experience. Yeah, I mean, the only thing put me off doing something as big as a bust and something that's kind of more human-esque, if you like, is I'm not sure my my painting skills are at a level where I do it justice. So I'd probably spend a nice penny on a resin bust or something, and then screw up the skin tones and stuff. Paul said, I really want to do the Waterloo Commanders busts from Mitch's Military Models. I've never heard of them, mate. Company I need to look into, eh? Right. Let me just scroll back up a little bit there. Peter, he's chatting to VJ. Yeah. Bobby says, on the other side of Hexam, yeah, it's a deal, no need to pay though. We'll sort something out, mate. We'll sort something, because it's your time and money as well, mate. So I'm conscious of that. Or if I can help in any way with you as well, mate, we'll do something between us. We'll sort it out. But yeah, let's definitely get together, mate, when the world allows. Because to be fair, even just because I'd like to see more of your painted stuff in the flesh. Johnson, if there's something organised, Bobby, I'd definitely be there. Yeah, I wonder if we can set something up, mate. So as you can see, folks, I'm not exactly taking much care with this, but generally, because what I'll probably do is I'll probably run this over, and then I'll probably just run a wash over the top of it as well. So I tend not to be too worried about it. Because I know I've already washed the sails and stuff, but just to kind of blend in the sails a little bit here, the rigging and, or not rigging, whatever it's called, like the ropes and stuff. I'm noticing a few little bits of areas in here as well where I forgot to come in with the yellow, so we'll tidy those up as well and then wash them back. But yeah, it's starting to come together. And again, like obviously you get to see these close up on camera and stuff. But then what happens is once it's built as a ship and I take a picture of it on a table, like 90% of the detailed stuff disappears. And because the stuff I do then goes like on camera and like almost disappears into the shot. That's why I'm a big fan of seeing the big army shots and stuff, because it really shows off the volume of work as opposed to the individual skill level. Oh, Marcus said he moved 60 bags of cement that weigh 80 pounds each. I remember, I think I just read that somewhere, mate. Another one, you've got like spaghetti arms. But he says just posted a couple of quick pics in the Discord of the green stuff work. A nice one, mate. Christian said to pick up some of the original BlackJack Legacy t-shirts as well. Yeah, so, I mean, we've obviously launched the new range of stuff. However, I'm fully aware that the shipping costs, if you're not in the UK, are a lot higher. And I don't have any control over that. That's just the company that we're using do a flat shipping fee to other regions. So if you're buying like a couple of hoodies or a hoodie and a t-shirt or something like that, the shipping might not be as bad. But if you're only buying like a cap or a face mask or something, the shipping is a bit more expensive. So what I'm planning to do, certainly short term, is I'll keep the Teespring store open as well, which makes it a bit more international friendly. And I think the reason for that is because Teespring have manufacturing plants all over the world. So wherever you order from, they basically get the product made at the nearest one to you, so the shipping is a bit more reasonable. They charge more for the actual product. It's not me making more money out of them or anything like that. I actually make less. But they charge more for the product, but the shipping's a bit more reasonable. So I'll keep the Teespring store open and stuff, and we'll do the odd like kind of. I can move a lot faster through Teespring to offer something, I think, because I can kind of like design it online and get it up there the same day. So we'll keep them both going. So don't worry. I'm not shutting down Teespring. So if anybody wants to order any for Christmas or anything like that, there's no sort of urgent rush other than Christmas shipping dates. Not that I'm sure why you'd why you'd want to treat yourself to one of my t-shirts for Christmas. But you never know. People have asked. It's funny because like these hats came. I think it was yesterday they arrived. I bought this one and I bought one of the woolly hats as well, like the beanies, and I was like trying them on, and I was like trying it on my little boy, and he went, "Oh, they've got your logo on, haven't they?" And I went, "Yes, they have, son. They've got my logo on." And he went, "I haven't got a logo, and Mummy hasn't got a logo. Like, why have you got one?" And it's like, yeah, good question. How do you explain to a 4-year-old why? He still doesn't really fully understand like why my face gets on TV sometimes. Like if I'm watching, if I sometimes watch back one of my videos on the big TV downstairs, just to kind of check out like to see what the difference is between what I'm color correcting on my laptop versus how it looks in reality, like on the TV and stuff, and for checking audio levels of like, is it loud enough, is it too quiet, just when I'm trying to improve things and that. So if he ever kind of sees it on the TV, he's like, but I think he's kind of grown up with YouTube as well, so he sees like lots of like kids and stuff on TV and kids talking about toys on TV and things. So I think kids these days are a bit less kind of sort of normal TV. Like he's basically grown up in a world now where he just says what he wants to see, and then we find it like, oh, I want to see Batman toys. Right, let's look for Batman toys. Like when I was a kid, it didn't work like that. So it's quite interesting to see how he's kind of grown up in that context. Because my older lads, like obviously, when they were young, things were a lot different then. Like they're 18 tomorrow. My oldest boy's at 18 tomorrow. God, unbelievable. Makes me feel old. Jamie saying, I listen to movies that are themed similar to the game I'm painting. Any ideas for movies to watch for Armada? Master and Commander is all I've got so far. Maybe Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, I must admit, when I watched Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl is one of my favourite films, I'll be honest. And I watched it not that long ago, actually, while I was sitting there building. Was I building or was it? I might have been just cleaning up some Armada minis. But yeah, I do like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Fiji is saying, so the question is, do most people base, hard highlight and then wash back, or base, wash then highlight? I tend to base, wash the base colour back up to a bit of a highlight and then highlight up from there. I must have skipped ahead quite a bit there. Oh, it jumped. I did just read Jamie's comment and then it jumped away. That was what it was. That was why it didn't make sense. Peter says, maybe some hobby-related fiction that's not really for the channel and still your hobby, just an idea. I've got a few books to read, to be honest, mate. I've got the new Warcry book that I haven't read yet, and I've got a few bits and pieces. I got the audio book for the Mantic, not the Mantic Armada book yet. I haven't picked that one up yet, but the Steps to Deliverance, which is the Kings of War novel, which I'm quite enjoying actually, and I've got a couple of Jack Reacher books as well to catch up on. So I'm all right for kind of like fiction stuff to read and that. And Krabby also gave me a couple of 40k books to read, which I haven't gotten started on yet. So yeah, I've actually I have asked for some more Batman comics. I'm a huge Batman fan, and Batman's always been my love of comics and stuff like that. So I've asked for some more of the Batman trades that I haven't got. So I've got that's what I've asked for Christmas off my family. So let's see if I get them. And I'm not short of a bottle of whiskey or two either, so buying bottles of whiskey's not really needed. And the weather's not good enough to get cigars either. The weather is awful here. It's been absolutely lashing it down outside tonight. Excuse me. Yeah, in fact, I don't know if you heard that. That was just the wind rattling against the window frame there. Right, let me get that yellow back again. Mark said, I'm just going to lay here in my bed. Do you know what it is? I used to love that feeling of, you know, if you've been exercising or you've been doing like really kind of heavy manual work, and the next day when you wake up and your whole body like aches from it. I actually used to get a bit of a kick out of that. It actually felt like, yeah, like I've actually done some good here. I physically, like, I'm so stiff and aching. I used to actually quite enjoy that. Yeah, the days of exercise are sadly behind me at the minute. VG saying she's a bit rough, but her prime will bring it all back together. Yeah. Tony says, I'm at the age where I've actively dialed back on these painting so I can enjoy it and relax, rather than my old days where I was constantly pushing for the next level. I think when I first, I mentioned this really on my regrets video basically the other day. If you haven't seen it, please do check it out. And I used to always think that I needed to paint it to the best of my ability, and that led me to years of like basically not finishing stuff. And once I actually did kind of dial it back, and I became really comfortable with just base coats and washes and stuff, because let's be honest, not everybody has the time to do a really, really good job every time. And I'm sure I probably spend about the same amount of time painting a model as maybe Bobby does. He might even be twice as fast, but he's just got a different skill level to what I have. But actually, like what I was saying before, was it would be nice to paint something where it's not time limited. It's not like I'm not painting for any other reason than for the enjoyment of just trying to see like what level it's at. That might be just a bit of a nice change. Right, just a little bit of, just tidy up a bit of the edges here. I think we'll put a slight highlight of yellow, I think, on that one, just to bring it up a touch. I think we'll use a aerial yellow. Paul saying Mitch's military models tend to specialise in large scale models like busts. They're a bit like Pegassi. Do you know what it is? Now I kind of think about it, I think I might. Do they do like kind of like sort of World War I type soldiers and things like that? I think I might have seen some actually. Why would you want to run it over? Vigi saying, so the question is, do most people bait? Oh yeah, we've just been talking about that one. Tony says, my BlackJack Legacy Discord seems to have disappeared. Am I on the naughty step? No, mate, I've been doing a bit of a clear up today, and I think there was two. You might have been logged in under two different accounts, and I might have deleted the wrong one, mate. If you go back in through the Patreon, mate, if you go into the Patreon page, and there's a link back to the Discord, you'll be able to read it because you're a Patreon, and that'll take you back in, mate. Just reapply. I've been doing a bit of admin today, sorting out people's mugs and getting those shipped out, and having a bit of a tidy up with the people that are no longer supporting and stuff, and in the nicest possible way, kicking them out of the Patreon group. And I did a couple by accident, I think. So yeah, if you can't access it, mate, that's my fault. So just go back in. Right. Let's have a little look on here. Paul saying there, don't be put off by the scale or price of busts. It's no different to buying big, complicated, and detailed GW models and buggering it up. I think it's more like if it's a bust, it's human skin. Like I think that's the bit that scares me off. Really, is because I'm not like my skin has basically been over the years has been like Cadian flesh tone with what's it called? Like Reichland flesh shade over the top, or now it's like Gulliman flesh contrast paint and stuff. Oh, do you know what it is? Do I really want to put this yellow on? Let's just try a little bit. We can always go over it again. Yeah, I'm happy with it actually. We'll just pick it up in a few spots just to give it a bit of, make it look like the light's kind of picking it a bit. I think the thing to remember as well, when you put this kind of stuff on it, it always kind of, it dries down a little bit as well, doesn't it? Like it dries a bit more, less bright. So you kind of, you always have to remember that bit. So that's just kind of picking that up a little bit. Actually, you can't really see it on camera too much. Oh, you balls! I've just brushed straight through that. Let me just wash that off before it gets, before it dries. And we'll wipe that off. Might have to touch it up a little bit so it doesn't have a yellow tinge. There we go. Keep things out of reach, Birdus. That would help. Yeah, sorry. So skin tone's generally been the has been the bit that puts me off. I think I've still got the Mantic Giant, which is basically primed, ready for painting, and I haven't touched it because of skin tones. Like it's all right doing a bit of a wash over it when the face is tiny, but if it's anything that needs a bit of detail, I was really impressed with what Marco had been doing with the Gargants that he'd been painting as a commission for somebody. He done a cracking job with the skin tones on those. Fiji says, don't ask do you want a BlackJack Legacy shirt for Christmas, ask why you wouldn't want one. Exactly, mate. I think I'll just buy all my family BlackJack Legacy t-shirts. That gets this Christmas shopping done, doesn't it? Over and done with in one fell swoop. I'm sure my wife would love nothing better than a zip-up hoodie and a baseball cap. Whiskey Tango, BlackJack Grandpa. I know, mate. Like I say, I'm feeling old. It's my birthday next week. I'm 45 next Wednesday. So when we do next Wednesday's painting stream, I think I might crack open a nice bottle of wine. I think for next week's painting stream. I might have another slice of cake. I would have had a week off the painting stream for my birthday had I been able to go anywhere. But seeing as we're still in lockdown here in the UK, I think I'll save that evening out with my wife for a time when I can actually go out with my wife. Because she was going to take the day off work and we were going to have a bit of a day out and stuff and go for a meal and things. But then yeah, when the lockdown came in, it was like, just cancel your day's holiday. Keep it for when it's more useful for you, and we'll do it another time. So let that one dry a little bit. Yoakum is saying, finished building a Skaven warband for Warcry. Nice one, mate. Back to the mini swap. Look at the terrain shooter's snow tutorial earlier. Wish I looked at it earlier. I quite like the Valhalla and Blizzard actually for doing snow. I find it really really good. It's not so great if you're doing like big areas. Like I wouldn't want to be using the Valhalla and Blizzard for doing like terrain pieces, just because it's expensive. But for a bit on a base, I find it really really nice. Peter says, well, I'm out. Need to be back at work in less than 6 hours. Wow, mate. Good night. And we'll speak soon, mate. Thank you very much, Peter. Tasty Brain Drain says, you never go wrong with whiskey. I don't really drink a lot in the house, mate, is the problem. So what I used to do was, like, when obviously we could socialise, when times were different and stuff, like my brother-in-law likes a nice drop of whiskey as well. So we used to, like, we'd have a barbecue and then we'd stay at their house or they'd stay at our house, and like the kids would go to bed and we'd obviously like sit and have a meal with our wives and stuff like that. And then what would tend to happen is we'd crack open a bottle of whiskey, we'd get a nice cigar, we'd sit out in the garden, we'd kind of put the world to rights, you know, maybe have a game of Warcry or something like that. So it was a nice social thing to kind of do together. But like obviously that's not a thing these days. So what's tended to happen is I've got a bottle of whiskies when I've seen something on offer or somebody's bought me one as a gift or something like that. So I ain't short of it at the minute. And it feels like it'll be a long time before I'll be starting to get drunk. So I don't want to just keep adding to it. But you're right, generally you can't go wrong with a bottle of whiskey, but yeah, I tend not to drink it on my own. Just like sitting in the house. And if I'm sitting having a drink with my wife, we tend to have a bottle of wine. So, as I think we discussed last week on last week's stream, didn't we rather? I think that we went off on a bit of a tangent about wine recommendations and and all sorts of stuff. Right. I'll let that one dry a little bit. I'll pick up a little bit here. And just pick up on the high spots, I think. Paul saying, yes, they do a lot of historical characters, real and fictional, in large bus format. They're literally just for painting and making dioramas. Yeah, that's what I must have seen, mate. I think I must have seen somebody doing one online or something. Yeah, Vijay saying it's a bit odd how Patreon and Discord link so easy, but when people stop Patreon, it doesn't automatically remove them from the Discord. Yeah, it doesn't. I assumed it did, which is why I've not really kind of kept a close eye on it. But there's a few people have left over time, and I noticed I still saw their names in the list. So I thought I'd have a bit of a today's been a bit of an admin day, doing my receipts and my tax stuff and sorting out people's mugs and all that kind of bits and pieces, all the paperwork stuff. So I started working my way through it, and obviously I dropped the clanger and I kicked a couple of people out by mistake. But at least I know that they can get back in through the Patreon as well. So I did make a bit of an announcement today in the Patreon to say that like I'm having a bit of a tidy up, so I apologise if I kick anybody out. However, if you didn't read that before I kicked you out, you wouldn't have known that. So that's why I was asking everybody to put their proper names in, so I could try not to make any mistakes. But obviously with Tony's name, I think Tony is in under Mr. Spooky Thang, and there was two, and I've obviously kicked the wrong one out. Tony's saying for larger models, he really likes the Andrea models, 54mm dwarf. Christian sharing the link for the Goblin Gaming affiliate link as well. Thank you very much. I also want to thank everybody as well. Like since we mentioned the Amazon Patreon link as well, there's been a few sales have gone through that. Like I said before, you need to make £25 in commission before they pay you out. And I'm lucky if I get one payout a year. There's not a lot of like stuff goes through the Amazon link. So if anybody is shopping there, just like it helps me out. It costs you nothing more than the time it takes to go and click through my link, but it does help me out. So it's a nice way to kind of support the channel for no more money. So I appreciate that. Right, I think we are pretty much about where I want to be with this one now. I might tidy up some of them sales tomorrow a little bit, but once it's all dried off, I'll put a little bit of a wash over the top of the rigging on the sail. Dirk says it seems the human ship sails are easier to get a nice result than those orcish ones. Yeah, I agree, mate. I mean, these are meant to look a little bit destroyed, I think, where the other ones are kind of almost at, like they almost got like full wind in them, so they're bellowed out, and these ones are a bit more destroyed and stuff, really. So, but I'm happy with how it looks. It'll look fine once it's all there. Once it's all in there and up. So I'm just going to run a little bit of wash. It'd help if you could see it. I'm just running a little bit of wash along the tops here, just to kind of blend in where I've just painted around those rings and stuff. just to blend those in a little bit. Maybe he's missed any little bits or anything like that. That's that one done. Put it on to dry off. Vijay, yeah, been there, done that a few times. Yes, mate. Andrew Fairbanks, yeah, I feel like Gulliman flesh all over a bust isn't the way to go. Yeah, exactly, mate. I feel like it deserves a bit more care and attention. And I've seen like YouTube tutorials and stuff where people are saying about putting like bits of purple into skin tones and all of that type of stuff. But I feel like I don't want to start on such a big piece to as a test piece. You know what I mean? Which is why I'm thinking something more along the lines of like some kind of like a 40k flyer or something like that, or some kind of big vehicle type thing, as opposed to maybe skin tone type things. Right, just get a little bit of wash there to take the brightness off them. We'll maybe highlight them up afterwards, but otherwise I think we're golden. I'll just tone these down a little bit. Just run some into the base there. Just to break up that. Right. Do I need to do anything with where I splodged yellow on there? Tasty Brain Drain saying, does Goblin Gaming ship to the US? I don't think they do, mate, to be honest. And I didn't realise that when I first switched over to them. I think my old affiliate link is still working, I believe, with Element Games. So if you check out some of my old videos, that link still works if you're using those. But I think I'm pretty sure that Goblin doesn't ship to the US. I don't think. Where are we? I'll tell you what. Let's chill for 5 while that's drying off. And let me switch back to the main screen and we'll just hang out. Tony saying Mark did a great job with those Gargants. Yes, he definitely did, mate, didn't he? Busey says, will you be painting any of the new Warcry or Indomitus stuff on these hobby hangouts? Yeah, no doubt, mate. I've obviously built the Warcry stuff. It just needs painting basically, so we'll get around it at some point. I did have a stream where I was painting the Necrons for Indomitus. I think I had a couple of Necron streams, so I've been doing them live on the stream. I'm thinking about doing like a video about painting the marine half of the Indomitus set, like trying to do it like in 24 hours or paint it all in a weekend or something like that. So I've intentionally not started that one yet, but yeah, I have done some of the Necron stuff on it, mate. Let me just move this microphone a little bit so it's a bit louder for you as well. Tasty Brain Drain says, so your oldest sons were born 6 days before your birthday. That's a great birthday present. It was, mate. It was. But they're 18 now, so that's a bit different. VJ says, that's the Halfling team basis green stuffed. Nice one. VJ says, having a birthday barbecue next weekend. Got to keep the numbers under 20 over here for the Rona rules. Under 20. God, even when we had kind of, we were allowed to meet, it was under 6 or 6 and under. VJ saying he's looking forward to it, I bet, mate. Yeah, someone asked you what wines were, and that was it, mate. Whiskey Tango says, is there a Patreon Discord integration that can automatically manage that? No, there's a Patreon and Discord integration for managing you coming in. There isn't one for kicking you on the way out, I don't think. Thank you, Christian, sharing the Amazon links. Thank you very much. Nate's Miniatures, good morning, mate. How are you doing? He says, thought I would drop in before getting some breakfast. What are you going to have for breakfast, mate? What's your breakfast of choice? Marcus is chatting with Morph there. Tasty Brain Drain says, speaking of Goblin Gaming yet, would you been asking that one? Let me scroll down a bit. Jeff Higdon, good morning, mate. Good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is. He says, will you be doing any Blitzball content? I've been itching to hit Barnes & Noble and grab the new starter. I'm not sure, mate. The reason I say I'm not sure is because there's not a lot, like the content that's out there doesn't really seem to get a lot of views, because the bulk of the audience, if you like, can't buy it at the minute. So it depends. It's more about, am I better off spent that time creating content about something else that has a better chance of getting watched, basically. Knitting, just some bacon and egg. These, oh, nice, mate. Bacon and eggs. I do like a bacon butty, mine. Bit of brown sauce as well. Is brown sauce? Do you get brown sauce like over in Australia and the States and stuff, or is brown sauce a bit of an English thing? Jeff saying you could at least paint them on live stream. Yeah, I'm going to paint them at some point, mate. So yeah, I'll maybe do them one week. Yeah, HP sauce, mate. That's all right then. Yeah, you do get it over there as well. I think the HP sauce has got like pictures of it, like, is it like Big Ben or something on the front, or like Houses of Parliament or something? I'm pretty sure that's what's on the bottle of a bottle of HP sauce. VG saying Agents of Sigmar guys are going to be doing more Blitzball batter ups. Yeah, I saw that, mate. Yeah. Marcus says, what is brown sauce? It's kind of it's got like molasses in it, and it's got I forget now. I'm gonna have to Google what's in brown sauce, mate. Don't want this. What's in brown sauce? Let's have a look. What's in brown sauce? Brown sauce is a condiment served with food in the United Kingdom and Ireland, normally dark brown in colour. Ingredients include a variety of combination of tomatoes, molasses, dates, apples, tamarind, spices, vinegar, and sometimes raisins. There you go, mate. And it is absolutely amazing on a bacon sandwich. A nice really nice bread, few rashes of bacon, not like American bacon, which is really crispy, like English bacon or British bacon, or the way we cook bacon here, the way we cook it in my house anyway. It's like big rashes of bacon, like still quite soft. Loads of brown sauce on it, amazing. VGC and Pete does a fantastic job producing them. Yeah, they do a good job, mate. Tisty Bryn says, chewy bacon. Yeah, chewy. Whenever I've been on holiday in the States, and I do love it, man, having breakfast, I do like to treat myself when I'm in the States with like waffles with bacon and maple syrup is a nice bit of a treat breakfast. I couldn't eat them every day, but nice as a treat. But the bacon is always really crispy when I've had it in the States. Tony said I make fried egg butties for the boys and myself, but at the start of a weekend treat. Yeah, I do like a bit of a treat breakfast, like a bit of a bacon sandwich or a sausage butty or something. Yeah, Tony Booth Leiden, you're a legend, mate. Exactly. This is my argument. Brown sauce for bacon, red sauce for sausage. I wouldn't put brown sauce on sausage sandwiches. I would only ever put red sauce on sausage sandwiches. Vijay says they call it Canadian bacon in the US. Do they really? I didn't know that, mate. Joachim saying brown sauce goes with meatballs and potatoes in Sweden, although it's not the same ingredients. It sounds like you just got a different kind of brown sauce. Is your brown sauce like a gravy type thing? Vijay says it's like that on the McMuffins. Is it really? I don't think I've ever had a McDonald's in America. It's one of those things where I kind of travel all the way to the States. The last thing I want to do is just get McDonald's, I think. Yeah, Vijay saying your bacon's more like Canadian bacon. Yeah, I don't like it when it's too crispy. My wife kind of likes crispy bacon, so she'll cook it until it's a bit crispier. But it loses a lot of its flavour. Like it shouldn't just be there for the crunch. It should be there to actually a bit more chewy. Yeah, we always go off topic, mate. Don't we? At this time of the night, I quite like these streams where we go a little bit random. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this camera off, this painting camera, and I'm going to move it out of the way so I've got a bit more space here, and I'm just going to sit and chill and finish my drink, and we'll have a bit of a natter, a bit of a catch up about the world of the world of BlackJack. Eh? Let's have a look. Nate says, is it wrong of me that when people say America have too much food in one serving, that excites me? Do you know what it is? I think it's almost like a bit of a stereotypical thing to say that Americans have large portions, but I definitely think the rest of the world's caught up with them over the years. The one thing I do think Americans have big portions of is drinks. Like whenever like I see, like whenever you get a drink, like a large drink in the US is huge compared to a large drink in the UK. Busey saying McDonald's sausage and egg McMuffin. Yeah, it's been a while since I've had one of them, mate. ASDF, good evening, mate. It says gravy is called brown sauce in Scandinavia. That's what I was thinking, mate. Yeah, is it just some kind of brown sauce? It's just a sauce that is brown. Marcus says sounds like a mix of barbecue sauce and maple syrup, and I don't eat crispy bacon. That's why I don't eat bacon at restaurants. And Canadian bacon is just thin sliced ham. See, it's not thin sliced ham here than bacon. It's a lot more kind of like the rashers of bacon are a lot thicker than thin ham. Connor says, but is it a bap, a cob, or a butty? None, mate. It is a stutty. If you were in the northeast of England, you get a stutty sandwich. Stutties are really, really big sort of bread cake things. Amazing. You only get them in the northeast of England. So it's not a cob or anything. Tasty Brain Drain says, yeah, for the longest time I really didn't like bacon because most people make it too crispy. Yeah, I always I don't like cooking it myself because I'm always worried. Nick, thank you very much, man. Says, what's the origins of your channel's name? Right, I'll get to that in a second. I'll just finish talking about bacon. I don't like cooking it myself because I'm always conscious that because I quite like it like a lot more chewy, that I'll undercook it. So I always have to kind of go to my, how did I get a 45-year-old and I can't cook bacon properly? But I always have to say, does that look all right? Is that not going to kill me? Is that all right? The origin of the channel name. So, before the channel started, like over 4 years ago, I'd wanted to try and do some kind of YouTube. I watched a lot of YouTube. I wanted to know more about YouTube. So I thought I'll try making a video. And the only thing I was really doing at the time was I played a lot of Airsoft with my two oldest lads. So we decided to start a YouTube channel called BlackJack Airsoft. I thought BlackJack sounded kind of like, like some kind of Call of Duty call sign type thing. I like playing blackjack if I go to the casino with my wife or something like that. Like Las Vegas is my favorite holiday destination. So it sounded kind of cool, Blackjack Airsoft. That was where the Blackjack name come from. Anyway, I tried to make one video of Airsoft, realised that the footage was awful. All you could see was this camera on my head just kind of bouncing around and me not really shooting a lot of people. So I gave up on that idea. But I decided I wanted to go ahead and keep doing the YouTube thing. So I thought I'll come up with a name which is absolutely random. It doesn't kind of tie me into any one particular type of content. So I kept the blackjack bit, and then I picked Legacy because it was it sounded a little bit sort of like a bit, well, it was open-ended. And I thought, you know what it is? I think like my little boy Jackson, who's 4 now, was literally about 3 or 4 weeks old when I made my first video. So I thought legacy-wise, it's basically it means like as he gets older, he gets to see what his dad was doing when he was young. It's like a legacy to show him and to show my older lads. So that was where the name come from, really. And then the first video I ever made was about unboxing of The Walking Dead, which I bought on Kickstarter. And then it just kind of rolled from there. So I never started this channel with the intention of doing miniatures games. And it was going to be more of just kind of like geek culture stuff. I read Walking Dead comics, I read Batman comics, I watch loads of movies, I play video games, or I used to play a lot of video games. So yeah, it was meant to be more open-ended, but I kind of sort of really enjoyed those first few videos, and since then it's only ever been kind of tabletop gaming. So yeah, I've thought about changing the name a few times, but just kind of stuck with it. I kind of like it, so that was where it come from. Yeah, that was where it come from. Where else are we up to? Tasty Brain saying, yeah, chewy bacon tastes better. Busey saying HP or daddies. I'd probably go HP, mate, but I'm not upset if there's only daddy's sauce. I tend to go HP though. Yeah, Tony saying they call them bread cakes in Leeds. Nate saying I do like big Aussie brekkie. I've never been to Australia. Always fancied it, never been. Yeah, Paul saying it's not as sweet as maple syrup. Yeah, the molasses in it gives it a bit of a different flavour, I think. I think that's the tanginess bit about. And thank you so much, Nick, for the donation as well, mate. It's hugely appreciated, buddy, as always. Vijay saying, agreed. I was talking about the McDonald's in Australia. When I'm in the US, I'm Shake Shack Five Guys or In and Out, depending on which coast I'm on. We've got Five Guys now in the UK, and I do like a Five Guys burger, I must admit. But what I find now is like the kind of the sort of the westernized culture now, like it is everywhere. So when I've been to, like, when you go to the big cities in the States, I see the same kind of brands I see here, like in where I live. So there's a McDonald's, and then there's a like there's Five Guys. There is what was I just thinking of there? My mind went blank. Like Starbucks, all those kind of things. So it does kind of feel. It's nice to see the little local places, the unusual places. Tony says, I'll go the other way around like Conan to go brown sauce on sausage butties and either ketchup on or a fried tomato slice. I'm not saying you're wrong, mate, but you're incorrect. Tony said, you deviant. Nate's Miniature says, fried tomato, fried mushrooms on a sausage butty, mate. Now that's talking. Yeah, I'd have mushrooms on a sausage butty. Yeah, heavily influenced by the UK. Ah, okay, mate. Yeah, like a proper English breakfast. Nate's Mini says, guess what content I do, mate? Do you do like little miniature bottles of whiskey and that, mate? Marcus says, in the US, bacon comes from pork belly, which is the same as in England, but restaurants overcook it, so you get crispy bacon. In Texas, the thickness of the bacon is about an 1/8 of an inch thick here, or 1/4 inch. Wow, that's a bit of a difference. How long does it take green stuff to cure? I'm not sure, mate. I don't think I've ever used green stuff, if I'm honest. But as I was saying, yeah, Five Guys fries, the peanut oil is amazing. The shakes in Five Guys are amazing as well. Actually, I do like a good milkshake. Buzzers in as well. Good evening, Underdog Peyton. How are you doing? Nathan, how did you know? And Busey saying, try bacon in the microwave. It comes out surprisingly good. I don't think I've ever done bacon in the microwave, mate. I will have to try that and see how it comes out. Corey saying 24 to 48 hours for green stuff. You might have a little bit of a wait there, VJ. Yeah, best results in a day. Yeah, I think I've used like liquid green stuff as like a filler, but then I've just like left the mini and kind of gone and done something else. I don't think I've ever done it for like kind of sculpting and stuff. VJ saying Five Guys burgers and fries, Shake Shack shakes. Yeah, I think we've got things called Shake Shack over here, but they're probably just like a rip off. They're not part of the same brand. But yeah, I do like a nice milkshake. One of the nicest milkshakes I had, actually, I was in Miami, and we went to, what was it called? Ooh, it might have been Johnny Rockets in Miami, and my wife got an apple pie milkshake, and she thought, oh well, it's gonna taste like apple pie. That'll be quite nice. And they literally went and cut a massive big wedge of apple pie and just blended it up with ice cream. It was amazing. Yeah, I'm a big fan of going to the US on holiday, which is one of the reasons I was absolutely gutted about Adepticon this year. I've never gone. I've done a stopover in Chicago, just like switching planes and stuff at O'Hare Airport. But I've never actually been to Chicago, so I was really looking forward to that. Fidgy says, have you ever had a Five Lanterns burger in Ireland? I've never been to Ireland, mate. Oh, I have one, sorry, a long, long time ago. I had a friend who was a prison warden at the Mayor's prison. So I went to Belfast to see him, but I literally got the ferry over. He picked me up. We went to the pub, and then I sailed back the next day. So I never really sort of went anywhere. Marcus says microwave bacon is heresy. I love it. We're dividing the nation here now, or dividing the world even. Mark Wright, Johnny Rockets or Jenny Burgers in the USA are great. Yeah, Johnny Rockets was the one that we went to. It was actually the Johnny Rockets in Miami was in the building which was used in Scarface. There was a little plaque on the wall saying this is where Scarface was filmed, and it was one of the scenes in Scarface where it was filmed. It was good. Tony said, I have a friend from Texas with a life-limiting illness. She'd come to the UK every year to run the London Marathon for charity in Brit-style bacon butty. Yeah, it's not. I mean, I'm sorry she was ill-made, but she sounds like she was nice and fit in that respect. And a bacon butty will help, that's for sure. And VJ saying, yeah, Johnny Rockets ain't bad for sure. Marcus says, best burgers I've had from a local place called Lotta Burger. What's the other one? Byron Burger in the UK is not too bad either for a bit more kind of like a posh burger type thing, if you like, or an expensive burger, depending on how you look at it. Vijay saying, yeah, love Ireland, beautiful country. Also where heritage is from, so I'm a bit biased. I didn't realise you had a bit of Irish heritage in you, mate. Lord Maiden says, can you check out the Discord channel at some point? I have to report on something. Okay, mate, I'll have a look now while we're sitting chatting. Right. Nice to see you back in, Mr. Spooky Thing. What am I looking for, mate? Is it a particular group that I need to be looking at in? Dirk says, what's a butty? It's a sandwich, mate. It's just it's like a, I don't know if it's a Northeast thing or a UK thing or whatever, but a butty is like a sandwich, like a bacon butty or like a ham butty or, you know, cheese butty. Chip butty as well. Like having like a chip sandwich, like not chips like the US chips as in fries, but chips in the UK are kind of like bigger, like steak fries. Let me know, mate, what you want me to take a look at. I'm looking in the Patreon here, in the Patreon chat, but in Discord, where was it again? Can you check out the Discord channel at some point? I have to report on something. Okay, mate, I'm not sure what I'm looking at, but let me know. See, we're talking about penguins and Tim Tams in there, that's for sure. Tasty Brain Drink says, yeah, I've heard Johnny Rockets has amazing shakes, though there are none around here. I did get a chance to eat there once when I went to see my sis. Yeah, it was a fantastic one, mate. Paul saying, not you said not chips like in the US, but let's be honest, crisp butties are amazing. I do like a crisp sandwich, mate, now and again, a crisp butty, that's for sure. And Vijay saying, yeah, I do like a good chip butty. Yeah, a chip butty with red sauce in as well, tomato ketchup. Mark says, call them chip sangers. Yeah, Australians a bit. A sanger's a thing, isn't it? Mark says, it's good to know I'm not the only one with Irish blood in here. I actually, I think my heritage actually is a bit more Dutch. I think I've got some Dutch heritage. Tasty Brain Drain says, there's a chain of burger places here in the States called Grub, and they have an amazing bourbon caramel shake. Oh, I tell you what, I do like the, I do like TGI Fridays. Do a Jack Daniels glaze over the ribs and stuff. I do like that. Oh, it's making me starving just sitting here talking about it. James says, crisps, fries, give me all the fried potatoes. Yeah. Corey says, bloods and crips, what's going on here? Yes, crisps, mate. So what you would call chips, or I don't know where you are, Corey, but what the US folks would call chips, we call crisps. Marcus says, don't forget tater tots. Tater tots, mate, is I'm trying to remember now. Is it poutines? That's Canadian, I think, isn't it? Poutines. Whenever I hear tater tots, I always think poutines. Tasty Brain I've got a lot of Irish in me, along with French, English, and German. Yeah, and Jeffrey loves the tots. Marcus said, like hash brown. I'm not a huge fan of hash browns. It's one thing I probably would leave behind on a McDonald's breakfast. I'm not a big fan of them ones. Yeah, Tasty Brains saying the TGI Fridays Jack Daniels glaze is awesome. Yeah, I'm a fan of food, mate. If you haven't guessed. Mark's in all his food chat and might have to make a fish finger sandwich. Whenever I finish a live stream, I like to kind of wind down a little bit afterwards because I'm normally quite like wide awake after talking for like 2 or 3 hours. And it's always the point where I think, oh, I could just have a sandwich, or I could just have some toast or some cereal or something. And I know I shouldn't be eating late at night, but I always feel like I need food at the end of a stream. This is not helping me, folks. I'll have to say it. This is not helping me. James is saying poutine is fries with cheese, curd, and gravy. I knew I had cheese on, mate. I forgot about the gravy bit, but I always kind of, in my head, whenever I hear tater tots, I always mentally link them with poutines. Paul says, if you ever get in Manchester again, get yourself to Almost Famous. It's a burger restaurant. They're probably the best burgers in town. I have been there, mate. I don't know, I'm sure we've mentioned before, I used to work in Manchester. And I've been to a few places in Manchester for food. There's some really nice places. One of the nicest steaks I had actually was in the Manchester, the 235 casino in there used to have a James Martin restaurant, and I went there with work and had a steak there, which was particularly nice. Tony says, I had Robert Zorn slathering last night as I made one of my curries from scratch. A bit of a hobby. I keep seeing you, mate, posting on Facebook the grub that you make. Jeffrey's got a bit of a mixture of English, German, Serbian, American, Native American. Wow, mate. There's a good bloodline there. VG saying, I love poutine when I'm in Canada. I think the only place I've ever had poutines actually is in Disney World, mate, if I'm honest. It's not exactly authentic Canadian, but that's when I've had them. Martin, yeah, hash brown nuggets is the best description of tater tots. Yeah, that's kind of what they are, aren't they? That's kind of what they are. Oh, well, I do love how these chats go a little bit off topic, folks. Oh. So, what's everybody up to the rest of the week? You got plans? Have you got plans this weekend? I need to pop over and stand outside of my boy's house tomorrow, my kids, and hand over a card. We're not allowed to go indoors. We're not allowed. We have to socially distance. We've got lockdown. I probably shouldn't even be travelling, but it's my twin son's 18th birthday, so I can't not go in there, hand cards over and gifts. So I'm going to pop over tomorrow, even after they've been to school, and go and see them. What else have I got on? I've obviously got videos to record for the rest of this week as well. Videos are doing well this week, actually. I'm having a pretty decent week this week. How's the subs going? Let's see how we're on track. I've lost a couple of subs since we started the live stream, so there you go. Somebody doesn't like the food chat. Yorkhamson, just getting hungry here. Better get some sleep instead of start eating this hour. Yes, I agree, mate. Cheers, buddy. We'll catch you later. Buzzer says, I love painting models. I probably won't win any awards, but I try to show you guys an easier way to paint models. Thanks, Buzzer. Marcus, I'm going to lay in my bed in pain the next 2 days. Yeah, it's them spaghetti arms, mate, isn't it? That's what it is. Busey saying the new McDonald's double Big Mac is bloody good. 4 patties. Well, you do not need 4 patties in a sandwich, in a burger, mate. That's for sure. You don't need 4, but things. I used to quite like the big tasties, but yeah, I can't imagine having 4 of those, mate. Jeff says Thanksgiving shopping and painting off all next week for the break. I'm forgetting about Thanksgiving, mate, for you guys over there as well. We obviously don't celebrate Thanksgiving in the UK, so it's just kind of it's the build up to Christmas for us. The problem we've got at the minute is because of like lockdown and having a bit of a shitty 2020 in general. Everybody seems to have peaked a bit early for Christmas this year, so everybody's decorations are already up. Like all of the shops were playing Christmas music like weeks ago. Excuse me. And the worry is, like, young kids, like my little one at 4. This is really the first Christmas that he is proper understanding the whole Santa Claus coming down the chimney, all that kind of stuff. And the last thing I want to do is hype him up, like well before Christmas. Normally we wouldn't put like decorations up until we hit December, so we still don't have ours up yet. But yeah, like neighbours have got like all the front of the houses are all dressed and like there's Christmas stuff everywhere. Mark says the Exit games sounds good that you played yesterday. The Exit games, mate, are really, really good. Excuse me, you can buy them for about 10, 11 quid each. I think they're about £13 full price. But you can sometimes get some good offers on them. And they're essentially, they're an escape room in a box. But you can only play them once. So on one hand, it's a shame that you couldn't like play through it and then hand it on to like a friend or family or set it on or whatever it is so somebody else can play it. On the plus side, the reason you can only play it once is because they have some really good puzzles in them where you have to like cut things up to change the shape. We had one yesterday where you basically had you got like a tea light candle inside as well, and you had to basically turn the lights off in the house or turn them right down, and you had to move the candle around in a certain formation so that it cast shadows with another piece, and wherever the shadow crossed something else, like that was the symbol that you had to use. And like it's just got some really, really quirky, really interesting like little puzzles and stuff in them. The one we played last night was like it's got like a 2-part one. There's only one of them that's in 2 parts, so like it said it would be up to between 2 and 4 hours for the whole game. And there's a point where you can stop in the middle for a break. But we decided just to play it all the way through, and we took about three and a quarter hours to play the whole thing. But yeah, it's so much fun, especially at the minute when there's like, I feel like we've burned out and watched pretty much every decent series on TV. We're not going out anywhere. Like, obviously we're in lockdown and things. Those kind of exit games are a really nice kind of, like a nice change, mate, to be fair. But I've played a few different ones. The one we played last night was really, really hard. But I think that's the hardest one that there is. And there's like sliding scale of difficulty. But yeah, for like a tenner or something like that. Like for Christmas evening, you know, if you're stuck in the house, you want to play games with family members that maybe don't like board games, or you want to do something a bit different. They're really, really good fun. Chuck and Deb Taylor says it's going on about 3 o'clock in the afternoon here, so you're getting me ready for dinner. you actually get to go and eat some food now. The rest of us got to go to bed. Dirk says we have a friend over for a game or two on Saturday, otherwise pretty much isolating, trying to get at least some stuff done. Paul says don't need 4 patties in a sandwich, but you do want 4 patties in a burger. Not the same thing. Yeah, like a really big chunky one, but you don't need 4 separate ones. I get that. VJ saying spaghetti arms, that's what you used to call the guy at work who would never help lift equipment when he's doing setups. They used to call, there was a guy I used to work with years ago, used to be called spaghetti arms because he wouldn't keep his hands to himself. That was a very different reason. VJ said, I never understand the whole Americans calling burgers sandwiches. Yeah, it's funny how there's kind of like these things don't translate. Like, excuse me, like I read something tonight. So, like, we have a saying in the Northeast, or I found out tonight it's only a Northeast saying. I thought everybody said it. That basically, if you're, like, you know, if somebody is saying, comparing two things and you're saying they're pretty much the same thing, we would say, like, it's 6 and 2 threes. Like it doesn't really matter. Like, do you prefer this drink or do you prefer this drink? We say, like, it's 6 and 2 threes. They're both about the same kind of thing. I didn't realise that until tonight, that is just a Northeast thing. Nobody else says it's 6 and 2 threes. They might say it's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, or variations on that. I did not realise 6 and 2 threes was more localised. It wasn't just like a normal common thing. Blizzard also saying the day after Halloween, the stores were playing Christmas songs. Tends to be the way, mate, isn't it? Yeah. And whenever I've said to people, go, that's a bit early to get your decorations up. They go, oh, we need some cheer this year. You know, we've had an awful year. We want something to look forward to. And it's like, yeah, but your kids are not bouncing off the walls. like Santa's coming. Oh, he's not coming for 2 months though, son. Fiji says a burger is so good it doesn't need 2 names. ASDF says the worst I've heard someone call a hot dog sandwich. Yeah, I mean technically it's bread with a filling, but yeah, I agree. Don't call them sandwiches. My granddad used to call them sandwiches, but I don't know if it was just a speech impediment thing. Tasty Brain said I was going to go over to Lake Charles on Saturday, have a comic book game store, but found out today that I have to work. Oh, never good, mate. Tony saying, yeah, Christmas decorations have proper thrown me off kilter. I avoid looking at Facebook to avoid going into a complete shutdown. Yeah, I'm not trying to be a bit of a Grinch about it, like, but like with the little one, he's already kind of like bouncing about and getting excited, and I don't want him to like burn out into a meltdown, like to like the hype of Christmas. Like when you're a little kid, the hype of Christmas is a bit of a nightmare. Brad P, hello Brad. This is Mike working on assembling some Veerman for Dead Zone. Nice one, mate. Nice one. Beauty saying you just giving away your home address with those tattoo coordinates on your arm. That's not this arm isn't it? That's not my home address, mate. That's not in case I get lost. It is a specific location, but it's not my home address. Tony said I'm probably being a heretic here, but I love Wendy's burgers. Yeah, you are a heretic, mate. Actually, I don't think I've ever had a Wendy's burger. Excuse me, my throat's a bit dry there. Tasty Brain Drain saying he might go to a local brewery as a pizzeria to watch the Saints game. Do you know what? It's comments like that are making me really, really like miss normality. Going to like a brewery or going to a pub, watching sport, like sitting and having some nice food with like a couple of mates or whatever. Like that's the stuff that even if I only do that once a month or once every 2 or 3 months, just to be able to kind of like wind down and kind of like proper switch off. No, it's not happening these days. Paul saying they see it in the northwest as well. Maybe it's just a northern thing then, mate. Because a lot of people were saying that they don't see it and it must be further south. A burger's a burger, yes. Wendy's chili. I don't think I've ever eaten in a Wendy's. Fiji says if it's in a bun and it's cold, it's a roll. If it's hot in a bun, it's a burger. I disagree, mate, because if you get like a hot beef sandwich, interestingly, a hot beef sandwich will be in a bun. So yeah, maybe that's different. Busey saying you best get some Christmas decorations up for your live streams come December. I had like a nice little banner thing that went around the outside with lights around it that I used last year, I think. Anna, good evening, Anna. How are you doing? So you caught the end of the stream. Anna, you've come to the wrong place if you're feeling a bit hungry before bed, because all we've done is talk about food and drink for about the last half an hour. VJ saying, yeah, Christmas decorations went away 2 weeks ago. Declan's been asking me ever since when Santa's coming. Yeah, that's the downside, mate. I understand people are trying to bring a little bit of like sort of a bit of cheer to an otherwise pretty awful year, but it's kind of peaking too early for kids and people who are like obviously get a lot hyper about it. No, a hot dog sandwich is when you split 2 hot dogs in half and put on a sandwich. They're using West Burgers in the US. White Castle, that stuff is gross. White Castle has that connotation of being like for stoners, doesn't it? Like it's a, if you're a bit high and you've got the munchies, you go to White Castle. Lord Min says, so what do you call a baguette used as a sandwich? It's a baguette still, isn't it? I think. Would you say like a ham and cheese baguette? Yeah, you probably would actually, or a Subway. Marcus is saying when he visits grandparents in Indiana, I never eat White Castle. Yeah, it's a sub. There you go. Dirk says I've been to a burger chain in the US where they had square patties. That was kind of gross. So in Scotland, if we've got any Scottish people in tonight, they have square sausage, which I think is it called a lawn cake? Have I imagined that have I mixed that up with something else? But yeah, they have square sausage in Scotland, which I found weird. Hoagies are subs. Yeah. Vijay says debating food naming conventions. This makes for great streaming. Do you know what it is, mate? You wouldn't get away with this on Twitch, would you? This is a YouTube special. This one. Speaking of sandwiches, one of my favourite is a fried pork tenderloin sandwich. Don't find them much in stores, but Mum used to make the best. Tomato, onion, lots of mayo and lettuce. Oh, nice, mate. I am a big fan of Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, mind. Says your brain drain says, with any consolation, I'm expecting we're going back to lockdown soon, so won't be able to do that either. Well, it is lawn sausage. Thank you, Paul. If you do get to do it this weekend, mate, please have a beer for me. I'll be there in spirit. A little bit of a birthday treat for me. Have a beer for me, please. Square patties is White Castle. I thought it was lawn sausage, mate, or lawn cake. I said, didn't I? Yeah, I thought that was it. Square haggis now too. What's up with the square thing? Like, why has that become a thing? And Jeffrey says we call White Castle sliders in the US. Yeah, I've heard them called sliders over here as well. Sliders tend to be like the really small, almost single bite. If you've got a mouth the size of mine, like the 1 or 2 bite small, like that kind of size, like smaller ones. That's why I think of them as sliders. VG saying, how is haggis even a thing? Haggis is actually really nice. It's just it just sounds disgusting. A bit like black pudding. Like I really like black pudding, but if you explain what black pudding is, like blood sausage, everyone just goes, "Oh, you're not eating that. It's got like fat in it and it's got blood in it." Yes, it's lovely. Yeah, VGC and sliders mini burgers. Yes, definitely. Right, folks. Black pudding divides my household, says Connor. I love black pudding. I love a good English breakfast with black pudding on. Marcus saying it smells horrible. That's why you buy White Castle by the half dozen. I've never been to White Castle, mate. I didn't realise that was the case. You buy them like a 6-pack. Blizzard saying I want to try haggis, but not till I can try it in Scotland. Yeah, you're better off getting it from the. I was going to say from the horse's mouth, but that's not where it comes from. Right, folks, I'm going to wrap it up now. We're hitting 11 o'clock now, so that's a good, what's that, off 9 or 10? That 2.5 hours we've been streaming? I think that's enough for my voice now, and I need to wind down before bed. So, thank you very much for everyone that's come in. I would show you, but I've put the camera away. That's what we've been painting tonight. Let me just... We got the base of the ship finished and the sails. Actually, let me just pop these back in, and you can have a look at the finished ship. It needs some little bits of tidying up to do, but I'll do that off stream. And of course, it doesn't want to clip in properly now. Well, at least you get the kind of the idea of the finished article. There we go. So that's what we've been doing tonight, folks. So you can see. So we actually did get something painted. So I'm quite happy with how that's turned out. It's not too bad. You don't want to see my face. You want to see the ship. I quite like that purple. Thank you, Christian, as well, if you're still around there. Thanks, Christian, for that lilac-y purple. I probably would have went with a bit of a darker purple, but I really appreciate it. I think the lilac really stands out. It looks awesome. So thanks for the tip, mate. Thank you again to Nick as well, if Nick's still around, for 2 absolutely amazing donations tonight. Hugely appreciated, mate. And yeah, if anybody, Christian, share the link for the Patreon there. If anybody wants to kind of to come and help out, this is what I do. This is my job, and I pay I pay my bills, I pay my electric bills, I pay for all my stuff, through support from the community. So thank you very much, folks. Just saying the ship looks great. Nice job. Thanks again for a great evening chat. It makes the world seem closer and better. Thank you, mate. I agree. I think it just makes it that little bit less shitty. So, thanks a lot, folks. I will see you probably in some videos this week, but I'll see you next week on Monday's live stream. And then I'll see you next Wednesday for my birthday painting stream. So, take care, and I'll see you then. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And if you did, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done. If you'd like to support the long-term sustainability of this channel, why not consider checking out my Patreon, where you can pledge and support from as little as $2 a month, and there is lots of different tiers and bonuses which will give you access to a private Discord server. It will give you free t-shirts, free mugs, a podcast every month, and a number of other things, including getting your name at the end of every video, like these awesome folks who already support me now.